Hello, gearheads, and welcome to another Sunday of the Blind Mike Project. Since we were here last week, Mike broke down Bo Burnham on Why Are You Laughing and carried Carl on Who Are These Socials. Find out all you could ever want to know about him at blindmike.net. At least that's all you'll ever get to know about him. But what I want to know is, when do we get to watch you and Lauren Compton on First Date? I may never know. And without further ado, let's welcome the man of the hour, Blind Mike Geary.
A scary morning here at Blind Mike Industries.
Busy.
Just a vague Craig needing attention. Guys, aren't we all thankful Craig's here? That's what he wants this morning.
Guys, I made it.
Well, as Craig said, it's more important to have him while he's distracted and his family is dying around him than Hack Ride at full attention. That's what he said to me when we started the program.
I texted Hack Ride at like 7:30 our time and didn't hear back until I was already panicking.
Yeah, it's 4:30 in the morning for him. What do you want?
Well, I'm just saying. I gave him plenty of time to wake up.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There are brief moments in life where you get to find out just exactly what someone means to you and what the role they play in your life. And I wouldn't have exactly thought this, but there was a moment this morning where I thought Craig had perished. And this was my exact reaction. Because it was at 9:50. That was the real issue.
Yeah.
That it was 10 minutes before we started, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but it's good. Craig, guys, if you think Craig's not paying attention usually, I should say, then we're in for a real treat today, because he said, listen, I'm not going to pay the show any attention, but Hack Ride can't handle it. So here we are.
I never said that. By the time I heard from him, I was already basically ready to go.
It's good you're alive, because I wouldn't have wanted to say this posthumously. It would have been in poor taste. But there's an observation I made this week, and we all know, we all make jokes about the obvious, that Craig is a virulent racist, and the horrible things he does to children, obviously. Those are it's hack at this point to point those things out. They're so obvious.
Right, obviously.
I never noticed what a horrible sexist he was until I was going through some of the clips this week, where anytime we talk about a woman, there was, in particular, one video got a bunch of comments that we keep stopping the clips. And I went to look at it and said, why do we stop the clips so much? And it's because if a woman opens her mouth, Craig will go on an angry tirade about her.
I don't think
it's crazy.
Which clip was this? I don't even remember.
Particularly the Seattle Comedy Club owners. That really got your dander up. But I even noticed it in, apparently there's a woman named Mint Salad that reviewed Stuttering John's movie, One Too Many.
Mm-hmm.
And, the goal of those clips is always to mock Stuttering John. That's what we have a lot of fun doing. But Craig couldn't get past the fact that there's a talking pair of tits on the screen that he needs to take down.
I'm a huge fan of DJ Electrify, so I don't think this,
wow, that tells you all you need to know, really.
This can't be a blanket.
Standard.
This can't be a blanket statement.
Oh, man. So what happened? You're all right.
Yeah, no, I woke up and my daughter had a fever and threw up 3 or 4 times. I don't remember.
Well, boo-hoo, frankly. There's important business to take care of.
Yeah. And
Doesn't she know Brendan Schaub canceled his live show?
And used. Oh.
So you don't need me anymore. Okay, I'm going back to sleep. Thanks.
Can he just pop himself in like that?
I stupidly gave him access to my.
That doesn't seem right.
Yeah. But
seemed right 15 minutes ago when you needed me.
See but this is my worry.
Yeah. I can always switch it back.
Well, we'll see. No, yes, everything's all right. Finally. Who knew that Craig's absence could rattle us so much? Well, I'll tell you, you don't think Craig's important until he leaves 30 seconds before the show starts to be like, hey, you don't have a producer today. Oh, all right. Fine, you're very important, Craig.
The show's not the same without you.
We're not talking about a woman today, so it's fine. Thank God we pretty much exclusively mock men on this program.
Yeah.
Or we'd never get anything done.
I mean, the Seattle comedy owners are crazy. That was
I understand, particularly the talking twat with legs. We got it, Craig.
Yeah, and his wife.
The man did nothing wrong.
Oh, I thought you were talking about him.
I see.
He's the worst.
Guys, listen, a lot of things going on. Craig's family's dying around him. Yeah. If you'd be so kind as to support the program so we could try and help out that cause, then go to blindmike.net. Or Super Chat us if you're watching live, if you want to leave a one-time donation. But if you want to support us every single month and get bonus content and early access to stuff, then become a patron. We have gifted memberships here on YouTube. You can sign up, become a member, whatever you want to do, or join the Patreon. I don't know, whatever platform is easier for you, then become a gearhead. Join us. Or if you'd rather just support the show for free, wherever you get podcasts, any platform, particularly this one if you're watching live, YouTube, smash that like button, leave a comment. All that good stuff helps the algorithm, helps this show grow. So, do that if you wouldn't mind. We got big business to take care of today. I'm very excited to get to this Dan Schneider interview.
Yep.
But in terms of this show, I think there's a place we have to start because we covered it a few weeks ago with Carl, the Fighter and the Kid live show. And if you remember, my big takeaway from that was these guys are going to do this every single month. Show number 1, they're embarrassed about how many tickets they sold. How is show number 2 possibly going to get any better? So our Fighter and the Kid correspondent, my buddy Lieutenant Kirk, a member of the Schaub mob, no less. He was at the Brennan Schaub show we attended. He's kept me abreast of this, and he tracks the ticket sales of the Fighter and the Kid live. And as of about a week ago, he messages me and says, 16 tickets sold.
I meant to ask, how did he know that?
I assume he's judging by the the chart, the seating chart.
Okay.
Where you can buy tickets. I don't know how accurate that is, but I imagine it's fairly accurate, right? They're not selling tickets doubly.
Yeah, I imagine.
So then a couple days later, he says, "Update, boss. This is gonna, I said 16 tickets sold before. I was crazy. I was presumptuous. They're now up to 21. They had sold 5 tickets in a week, so things were really cooking. Now it's weird how things timed out because I thought, are they really gonna play to 21 people? That seems odd. Now, there's a lot of walk-up ticket sales in comedy. The night of, people might say, hey, we're going out on 6th Street in Austin anyways. Might as well stop by and see the boys. So who knows? Will they play to essentially an empty room? But then they remembered something. They said, oh, jeez, silly me. I forgot an appointment. So I think Brian Callen is going to tell us that right now.
Yes, just an appointment.
Yeah, no, listen, guys, minor blip on the radar. It slips everyone's mind when something like this happens. Happens to the best of us. But when you realize it, when you check your calendar, of course you say, I got to clear my schedule, gang.
TFATK fans, I have to unfortunately cancel the March 29th at the Vulcan in Austin. We were going to do a live Fighter and the Kid.
Why?
He's about to tell us, and it's going to blow your mind.
Why, Brian? Come on.
because my beautiful wife could give birth at any time. I cannot be on stage.
Oh,
It's very bad.
It's weird though. She's only 6 months pregnant.
that definitely wasn't the case last month when you scheduled it.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, actually, much longer ago. I'm sure that they scheduled it because last month they were talking about how this is going to be a monthly thing. Now, you would think month number 2, if your wife was going to be 9 months pregnant, maybe you would say, hey, let's hold off because I'm not going to be able to do a monthly live show. But Brian's going to continue. He'll suss this all out for us.
And, I have my priorities. Love you guys. We will reschedule. My apologies, but I got to take care of business, and we will be back, and we can't wait to perform for you guys live again. And this time I'll have 4 children, not 3.
Wow.
So God bless, and we'll see you soon.
Seems very strange, but listen, that happened. So obviously Brian Callen's going to cancel all of his dates. He's not going to be doing comedy for a while. The guy's got to be a father. The wife's giving birth. Who knows when this could be? Evidently the baby's due on March 29th. So naturally they had to cancel shows. Why don't we just check in, if we could, to the latest episode of The Fighter or the Kid where they address this with Bappa.
But hold on, where I was going with that before you tell that story is you got to go to Vancouver. And then I remind you yesterday, I'm like, well, remember, Bubba, we got to be in Austin on Friday. You went, that's right. That's not happening.
And I don't.
Oh, no, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Brian has dates in Vancouver. Sounds like those are fine.
You know, it's a quick hop, skip, and a jump from LA.
Yeah, he's going around the corner to Vancouver to play a show.
He's going around the international corner.
Yeah. Honey, I'm going to be right back. I just have to grab my passport and leave the country for a show. But there's no way I can make the one in Austin. That arduous LA to Austin flight, no chance. Not happening.
I love that his stand-up, the tickets sell fine.
That's actually an interesting point, too, that I hadn't considered. It's like, Brian, we'll see you.
That's what I mean. Like everything just comes back to show up.
But you better make sure you're alone.
For the love of God, if he shows up.
All right, now let's hear. This is spin at its finest. Like they should teach a class on this. It's crazy.
Just assume,
No, this is a very.
I
good,
just assumed you were just down for the cause.
So this is a very good. This is a very good segue because, I make a lot of plans, and what you have to understand is that I keep my personal life and my entertainment life very separate on social media and stuff like that. I don't like showing my family and stuff like that. I'm a comedian.
You do some though,
sometimes, but it's not that I like to protect their privacy, right? And so my
listen to how much is going into this. The question was, why are we canceling shows in Austin? Listen, my family deserves privacy.
You ever seen the movie Taken?
Yeah, no, we all agree. We don't want to know who your wife is. That's fine.
Tarek, as you our dear friend Tarek, who is one of my, I talk to him all the time.
Yeah.
And yesterday my wife is in the kitchen and she couldn't be more pregnant. Like she couldn't be, the baby is literally hanging.
And I said, how did you get like that?
I was like, whoa, when did this happen?
I said, the first 8 months of pregnancy, why didn't you tell me about this? I could have made a schedule around your disease. Listen to this asshole acting like he's just finding out about this. I said, oh shit. I saw the size of her gut and it dawned on me. She's pregnant.
I mean, we're like brothers.
Yeah.
Dude, she came to the dinner and I was like, you're so pregnant. She's like, Brandon, tell him, like, I found out like 3 days ago you were having a kid.
It's a Tarek.
That says a lot about their friendship, by the way.
Also, I don't even know if that's true because I thought I remember hearing that Callan was having a kid. I thought they've talked about it, which I must be wrong because they can't be so stupid as to lie about something they've talked about on air, right?
No,
if there's evidence of that, that'd be great. If they were just dumb enough to have announced like 2 months ago that Callan's having a kid, and then now they're pretending they've never talked about it.
Oh, they're definitely that dumb.
It's possible, but I don't know. I only listen to this program for clips that we play, so maybe I'm just making it up in my own head. But yeah, it is weird to not be like, hey, Brendan, in, let's say, 6 months, whatever the correct time frame is when you start telling people, hey, in 6 months, you know how we have this plan to do a monthly show in Austin? I probably definitely can't do it because my wife is supposed to give birth on that day, which we'll find out that's not even the case in a minute. But yeah, it is weird to not tell Brendan and the other people you work with that you might have to take significant time off.
I put the video on her and he goes, wait, what's going on? I go, what? And he goes, wait, you're pregnant. And I realized I hadn't told him.
You don't share anything.
And then Frank Grillo hits me.
I don't think it's.
I have to hear from my ex that your wife is pregnant. I get that. Like, that's what's going on.
See,
I just doesn't.
It's not that you're private. You just don't even think about it.
I don't talk about it. Like I just feel like a guy's not going to be like, if I say my wife's pregnant, it's all good. But then we're moving on. You're not going to be asking me questions about it. It's not that interesting to you.
I have one question, Brian. Can we do a live show in March?
Sure.
You don't think Brendan's going to have any questions about it? Hey, maybe who's going to fill in on the podcast during that time? How much time are you going to need to take off? Should we schedule shows even though the first one bombed and you're going to have a kid around that time? Should we bother putting a second show on sale? Or is this all because you sold 21 tickets? Now, here's the thing. I'm not a guy who's going to move a lot of merchandise. I'm not putting asses in the seats. I understand that. If we scheduled a live show and I sold 21 tickets and I didn't feel like doing it in front of 21 people, I would come on and be like, it sucks. I guess no one wants to see this live show. We can't do it. Sorry, guys. I'm a failure. Who cares? What's the harm in that? But these guys have such egos and they've built themselves up so much that they can't just do that. And this is where I'm disappointed in my guy, Brendan Schaub, because if you're going to accept what you are in comedy and podcasting, like if you're going to be more accepting of the response you get on Reddit and Twitter and all this stuff, you kind of have to be able to be self-deprecating when you don't move a lot of tickets. Either do the show or talk about why you can't do the show, or never address it. Like, if you're going to do this, just cancel the show and never address it. Why put us through this charade of, guys, my wife is pregnant, and you know me. You know me, Brian Callen. I'm the type of guy that doesn't tell anybody in his life when he's having a child. You know that type of guy?
My ego can't take that hit, bro. That's what this is.
You know that old stereotype of the man that doesn't tell anyone that he's having a child.
All the people around Schaub just keep dirty secrets.
Yeah, evidently. Once you're good enough friends with Schaub, you can't tell. Maybe it's all him. Like, you just feel like you have to live a filthy life.
I think, or it's like everyone learned, you tell Schaub something, he goes, yeah, I won't say anything. He goes, walks on stage and says what he just heard.
It's pretty important.
Well, it's very important, but when I have the baby, we'll talk, but I don't know what else to say other than she's pregnant.
But you gotta let people know in your life.
I agree. I have to let people know. I just
like it. Like when
hey, Brian, that's all you had to say.
Like a business partner.
But that he's making it seem like I don't want all the accolades that come along with, like, hey guys, what am I gonna say? She's pregnant, you know? I didn't win gold at the Olympics. No. But scheduling wise, you do have to say I can't work these dates. Unless, here's my only thing. Unless it's just complete bullshit. Then you don't have to tell anyone anything. Like, unless you're just lying.
I was like, dude, your wife is ready to pop. If you're not gonna move Vancouver, we gotta.
Well, you said to me,
we gotta.
She might have a baby, and I go, I can't go to Austin. I can't go to Austin.
It was like a light bulb. One of you goes, oh,
I can't.
That's weird. Listen to poor Brendan's CTE mind try to navigate around this. He's like, listen, bro, if you're not going to move Vancouver, so your plan was for him to move Vancouver, move Austin up a week when there were only 21 tickets sold for this date? So you were hoping you could go to these 21 people and be like, guys, completely shift your plans to a week earlier. And listen, I know if only 14 of you can stick around.
You know how funny
that was the original plan?
You know how funny it would have been if they still did the show and the show was them talking, because you can get into a real intimate conversation with 21 people. Like, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah, like if that's the thing, if they were honest, like,
or what do you guys like? There's something.
Brendan Schaub is one of the most unique cases in comedy history, where he's a guy, he was a fighter that got really popular in podcasting at a time. Whatever you think of him, that podcast was extremely popular. And then started getting like theater shows and a Showtime special just because he knows Joe Rogan, I guess. That's a fascinating perspective. And they're doing nothing with it. Like, that's what's amazing to me, is they have this completely unique angle they could be taking. And instead they're like, you know what it's like when your wife is pregnant? You just have to cancel one show and no others on your schedule.
You know what it's like? Annoying.
Yeah, so Vancouver, they couldn't move. Now, of course, the baby could come early, right? And that could affect the Vancouver dates. When he's in a different country, trying to get back here could be difficult. But the only possible night that this baby could come is March 26th or whatever it was. A Thursday night when they're going to be in Austin.
Shit, that's right. You could have the baby. I go,
it's embarrassing.
I go, here's the thing. Yeah, it's just the way you're wired. It's not, you're not a bad guy. You're just sociopath. But the thing is,
no, I just don't. I just,
yeah,
I,
you don't. You just don't think that way,
right?
But I told Brian,
not a bad guy.
You know, I have 3 kids. Even if she has the baby on Tuesday,
I can't.
You don't want to leave on Friday.
Here's where it really starts. It's like, listen, guys. If she had the baby in February, we probably would have had to reschedule this, you know?
Yeah.
like you just gotta block off as much time as you need, particularly when you see there's been 20 tickets sold, I guess. I wonder, I'd love to know. I guess it's impossible to do the experiment now. It's weird. I wonder if the baby would have come on March 26th if the balcony had filled up a little bit. I wonder.
Ooh.
I wonder if that might not have been the case.
No, I think Brian's wife would have been like, just go. The people need you.
But this is very interesting. They reveal something at some point here about when the baby was actually due that fascinates me. But listen to these fucking assholes. And then they just start diverting into like family and stuff as if that's what anyone is interested in this conversation.
Yeah, I have to be there to drive her to the airport. To the fucking hospital. I got to be there in the hospital,
airport,
all that stuff, and it just doesn't seem real. I'm looking at her going, "Oh, you're so pregnant. You're gonna have this baby." Like she's supposed to have it October. I know. She's supposed to have it April 14th.
Hold on, that might have been a Freudian slip. What if she just got pregnant?
What's that?
When he said October, how great would it be if she just got pregnant? And they're like, we're being very cautious with this.
I can only go place with direct flights.
I wonder if there's even a baby. Like they're gonna. I've never asked this of anyone. They're gonna have to prove to me that there's a baby.
You know what's weird?
Because at this point, I don't believe it.
He will.
He better. It will not be here on March 26th, as we're gonna find out. But
so I wasn't planning on her having it
doesn't work that
early.
way. But you've had this your 4th fucking child.
Right.
Dude. You know it doesn't.
It doesn't.
They give you
My first one came a month early.
It never works that way.
Right.
But
go back a little bit. Just go back a little. They've completely made up a scenario in their mind.
Yep.
A month. So the baby's not due for a month.
Right.
Listen to these guys spin. They never say like, why not just say this? My wife's pregnant. Baby's probably not going to come. Ticket sales were low anyways. Hopefully you guys make the next one. But it wasn't worth risking it because it didn't seem like a lot of people were going to turn out. So guys, for the next one, if we're going to keep doing these shows in Austin, then make sure you hammer the ticket sales early. If you were thinking of buying last minute, just show some support, buy it early so that we know we can fill this place up or get close to it in order to do it every month. Is that so bad? Would that be so embarrassing? Sure, you'll get people on Reddit making fun of you, but is that the end of the world, guys? At this point, Brian, you're in your 50s. You're having your 4th kid. Is it the end of the world if someone says, hey, your ticket numbers were low?
That's the craziest part is his age. He's gonna be
Well-
70 when this kid's graduating high school.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy on its own. And it's a new, that's always interesting too, when it's a new, like, a different mom than his other kids. So it's like a new family he's starting well into his 50s.
Oh, that's fun. That's always a good
He's
idea.
gonna be nearing 80 when the kid's in college. That's wild. I hadn't thought about that.
That's nuts. Oh yeah, because he's almost 60.
He's like 57, I think. Yeah. That's nuts. I didn't think about that. But it's important. The one day you want to be there for the kid is March 26th.
That's right.
That's what I always say when you're having a baby. I'm like, really, all that matters is that you clear your schedule on March 26th. It doesn't matter if you're there when they learn to talk, walk, their first day of school, when they graduate, when they get married, any of that bullshit. Clear the March 26th of the year they're born.
Driver,
That's what really is important.
Yeah.
I mean, to the fucking hospital. I got to be there in the hospital, all that stuff. And it just doesn't seem real. I'm looking at her going, oh, you're so pregnant. You're going to have this baby. She's supposed to have it October. I mean, she's supposed to have it April 14th.
Can't control that.
April 14th.
That's why you don't.
Yeah. So I wasn't.
April 14th.
That's the one I was like, you motherfuckers. You thought you could slide that by us. Hey, the baby is probably going to come 3 weeks early. Definitely not 4, though. Definitely not when I'm in Vancouver. That much we know.
As he's sitting there going, my other kid came a month early.
We know 2 things about this kid. It will not come when I'm in Vancouver, and it most definitely will come when I'm in Austin. We haven't met the baby yet. We don't know its personality. We don't know what it looks like. Nothing. But we know 2 things about it.
You know,
it loves when I'm in Vancouver, and it hates when I'm in Austin.
You know what's gonna be the funniest thing is just picturing Callan trying to stress her out to induce labor.
Just going through all the reading all the books to see what makes the baby come early.
He's putting Legos on the floor so she steps on them.
Slapping her ass like a ketchup bottle, trying to get this kid out.
planning.
But we get comments sometimes. Sorry, we get comments sometimes just based on how like the YouTube algorithm works. That we'll get comments sometimes from people that I assume are like Schaub and Callan fans.
Yep.
And it'll always be like, "Oh, you guys are hey, these nobodies are jealous of Brendan and Brian." And I'm saying to you, quite the opposite. They should be jealous of my lack of success. I can impart some wisdom on them because of how unsuccessful I am. I can say, "Hey guys, there is no shame in saying, hey everyone, we didn't sell any fucking tickets. So if you want to go to a live show, hammer those ticket sales next time we do it. Otherwise, there's no sense in us doing it. Because we're not going to just embarrass ourselves and show up in front of 20 people. What's the harm in that? But maybe when you get to a certain level of success, like they were a few years ago, maybe you can't, your ego or your image or whatever it is, the people around you, your management or PR or whoever, they get involved and say, you have to spin this to make it seem like you had no choice but to cancel. And that's a place I choose not to live.
You've had this your 4th fucking child.
Right.
Dude. You know it doesn't.
It doesn't.
They give you
My
a
first
date,
one
never
came a
works
month
out.
early.
It never works that way.
Right.
But that's why I told Brian.
Never.
He had 4 tries at this, and he still doesn't know what to do.
That's another good point where he's an experienced parent. It wasn't like, first kid, I get, but first kid, I would think you'd even be thinking ahead of like, oh, we have to plan for this,
Yeah, first
maybe I shouldn't schedule a live show 9 months in advance.
First one's new, and you're like, oh man, I gotta do this, and the second one comes, you're like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, maybe that's his mentality here. Is like, oh, who cares? I'll just schedule a live show, sell no tickets, and then it won't look suspicious at all when I cancel.
Right. It's naturally because of this kid.
Yeah.
Even if it comes on Monday, Tuesday, you got to be there on Friday for sure. I love Austin. I love doing the show. But the birth is 4 times in your life.
I call Brandon.
Hey, do we wish we could be in Austin?
There's nowhere I want to be.
Oh, man. In any other circumstance, try pulling me out of Austin. I fucking dare you. You could come with an army, and you're not getting me out of Austin. It's just this was the one thing that could have taken me away from the beautiful city of Austin.
I'm an idiot. Like, my wife is popping. Now, I thought she'd have it a month from now, but she could have it at any minute.
This is why you should.
Okay, nothing has happened that suggests that.
Nothing's
just
going
keeps-
to either.
They're like, hey, when we booked this show, I was so confident the baby was going to come mid-April, and then nothing changed, so I had to cancel my shows at the end of March.
You said this is a new woman, right?
I mean, I don't know how new, but it's not the same. It's not his ex-wife, obviously.
Oh, so he's like, oh yeah, my last 3 kids came at this time, so naturally this same.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
There's no like she has a pattern, so it must be the same for this one.
That's how all uteruses work.
Yeah, they're all the same.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, hey, when we scheduled this show, we were so certain the baby would come mid-April, that it wouldn't affect us. It seems like we're still on track for that. But I just wanted to be overly cautious and cancel this show. Not my Vancouver dates, mind you.
He must be getting paid so much money for Vancouver.
I'm not canceling the Vancouver dates, which actually would be a month early.
Right.
Austin would only be 3 weeks. But if I'm using this 1 month theory that I have, where babies always come a month early, then I should definitely cancel Vancouver. But I'm not going to.
If you would have told, like, you told me like a week ago, and I didn't realize how pregnant she was till you came to the surprise birthday party.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. We're still doing Austin, but I didn't bring it
That'd
up.
be a nice feeling for Brian's
But
wife.
even if I would have known, I'm like, oh, let's push Austin to April, end of
It
April.
makes sense.
Like, you shouldn't be in Vancouver.
No, I'm taking all of April off.
Yeah.
I'm taking all of Austin off.
Hey, spot the lie. See if you'll ever find him in Austin.
I bet it. Do you think they do another one?
Well, here's another interesting piece of language that they used, where Brendan says, like, listen, buddy, I figure if you're not going to be around for a while, we got to push this to the end of April. Well, the way a monthly show works, there already would have been one scheduled in April.
You would think they would just do quarterly.
Yes, at most.
And why it's monthly, I have no idea.
Or say we've done one, it didn't work. Let's try again in a year. You know? Why do they need to do? I'll tell you why.
This comedy hub does not like us.
That's exactly it. They want to go to Austin once a month to be like, oh Rogan, what are you doing on 6th Street?
You remember us?
No, I'm right down the street. That's crazy. Hey, since I'm here, why don't I just pop into the Mothership, do a quick set? Would that be cool?
Or we can go talk on your show or something.
It is weird. I mean, I would think they could do the Well, we'll get to some of these allegations about the Mothership in a little while, which I will refute with Brendan Schaub. Will be my entire rebuttal to Ty Rivera's argument, but we'll get there later. Let's hear Brian Callen mop up the rest of this disastrous explanation.
But even if I would have known, I'm like, oh, let's push Austin to April, end of April.
It makes sense.
Like, you shouldn't be in Vancouver.
No, I'm taking all of April off.
Yeah.
And that was planned.
Can I ask real quick?
Mm-hmm.
The baby's due April 16th, did he say?
14th, I believe.
14th?
Something like that.
Hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
I know the baby, we all expect the baby to come a month early.
Yep.
You know, when he made the video, I was like, oh, probably coming a month early, right, Bri?
Yeah, his other kids coming a month early was because of his sperm and not his wife's eggs.
Hypothetically, what if it comes a week late? Is that possible? I don't have kids. You tell me, Craig. Is it possible the baby would come a week later than expected?
One of my kids was 5 days late, and the other was 4 days late.
Oh, so definitely not a week then. That'd be crazy.
Oh, a week? You're getting crazy.
Never. It's never happened. So listen, the baby will certainly come on March 26th. But if it doesn't, there's no chance it comes at the end of April.
Can we talk about how that's a Tuesday fucking night? Of course there's no ticket sales.
Oh, is it?
It's in 2 days.
The 26th. Maybe could I have the date wrong? Maybe they said the 28th. I thought they said the 26th, but
Even Thursday's better, but still.
Oh no, because Brendan even said Tuesday. He's like, hey, if the baby comes Tuesday or whatever.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, you might be right.
But I said I'm not going anywhere for April because I got to be.
We could do a live fire and a kid in LA.
Yeah.
But there's no Austin.
Yeah, I'm doing Brea in LA, but that's Friday,
fine.
Saturday.
Yeah, that's all good. To be back home, so you can figure
Hey,
it out.
can I give some kudos to Brendan?
Mm-hmm.
Brendan realized, oh, this idiot has dates in LA. He's all over California. The rest of it, after he just said, I'm taking all of April off, this moron has multiple dates around California all throughout April. So Brendan astutely says, I'm going to nip that criticism right in the bud. Hey, Bri, you can do LA, of course.
I got you, buddy.
You have no problem working Los Angeles when your wife is in labor, right? You don't need to cancel those shows.
All right, this is the last bit here.
These fucking morons.
I got to be.
We could do a live fire and a kid in LA. Yeah, but there's no Austin.
Yeah, I'm doing Brea in LA, but that's Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, that's all good. To be back home, so you can figure it out.
Yeah,
but to go like
19th and 20th. That's when the babies do. That's the week the baby's coming, you asshole.
I gotta be honest. This seems like a business meeting that they just turned cameras on for.
But here's what's crazy is they're doing it. They're doing this for the homeless cats. They're doing this solely to satiate people that will never believe this line of bullshit. That's what's insane to me, is that they are doing this. They're like, guys, please don't make fun of us for this. We have all these great reasons. Listen to our phenomenal reasons for canceling the show. When in reality, they should just say, and Reddit will have fun with it, and all their haters will make fun of them. But they should just say, listen, ticket sales weren't great. Probably not smart of us to do a monthly show at this point. Maybe we'll try quarterly. So we'll be back there in end of spring or early summer or whatever. But for now, the monthly shows just don't make sense for us. What's the harm in that, guys? No one's believing this story. It's ridiculous.
They're going to know we're a phony.
Brian, there is one day he canceled dates. Literally, he might as well have scheduled shows. This kid could have been, popped out during a C-section. And he'd have LA shows during that. No big deal.
That's true.
But he won't be in Austin.
I hope next week it's like Brian's just gonna come out and talk about how much bad luck this kid is and it's ruining his life.
I just like the schedule, like the flaw in this argument of like the baby will definitely be here a month early. No chance it's 3 days late because I have shows in Brea. I don't mind being on stage when my wife gives birth. I just sure as shit will not be in Texas.
I will never be in Texas. I don't like the gun laws.
I dare you to catch me in Texas.
I want Rogan to test him and be like, hey, you want to come on?
That'd be if he works it out with Brian's wife. Like, hey, just let me know when you start getting contractions.
We'll see. We'll see what he's all about.
Hey, you guys want to headline the Mothership? Honey, I gotta go. Tell the kid I miss him.
I'll never see him. I'm gonna make it.
Cat's in the cradle, kid. I gotta go to the Mothership.
We got some super chats here.
Oh well, let's read them.
Dang Lizard, €2. I can't believe DJ Electrify a man or a minor. Okay.
Oh, I see. Because you're a gay pedophile, and you said you like DJ Electrify.
Oh.
No, that's true. That's a good point, Dang Lizard. Thank you for pointing that out.
I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah. No, I got it. Very succinctly said.
Fun, okay. $4.44. Love you, Craig. Oh, and RBR doesn't watch Dabbleverse.
RBR. I don't know who that is.
Neither.
Let us know, guys. Send us a super chat. We'll figure it out.
First part of the message, coolo.
Yeah.
Drew P. Balls, $10 super sticker.
Thank you, buddy. One of the Howard DeGrace 5.
That's right. I'm so pissed I missed that. Cameo Blind Mike, $2. Any plans when you reach 1,000 on Patreon?
Nah, we tried. We said we had some big ideas, and then it didn't inspire anyone.
You're so desperate at one point.
Nah.
Like, I'll get a neck tattoo of whatever you guys want.
No, now I'm just negging you guys. Like, fuck you. You'll never get us to 1,000 on Patreon.
You guys would never do that.
As if you would. Guys, if we get to 1,000 on Patreon, I'm gonna have to cancel my Austin dates. So don't do that.
And lastly, Dino Raja, $2. Michael, would you consider buying a kid like Coleman?
Buying a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, the adoption thing? Yeah, that's very strange for a 24-year-old man to do. Peruse the internet and see if he can adopt a child.
That's weird.
That's what you do when you're just like, you've had it with the dating scene.
Yeah.
Like, why can't I find a nice guy to settle down with?
Hackride says 1K Patreon. We all do a stand-up set for 5 minutes.
Well, we'll see about that. I'm not making any promises based on Hackride's orders.
That's easy. Fun okay for half the price at $2.22.
I like that. He's slashing prices.
RBR equals Red Bar Radio just had to make he don't watch.
Oh, what does Red Bar watch? I forget now.
The Dabbleverse.
Oh, I knew that. But he does cover Steel Toe, doesn't he?
I don't know where to watch his show.
Neither do I anymore. I think it's only on his website, but I see clips on YouTube. I assume that's other people posting.
Is it a paid thing?
Yeah. He used to do free shows. I don't know if he does anymore.
Because the numbers he used to get on YouTube were insane.
Oh, did he have a channel on YouTube? Because I've seen a bunch of channels that aren't him, but people posting his clips.
Then maybe that's what I'm talking about. But I used to find full shows on there, so maybe he got robbed. But they used to do really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Red Bar. Sometimes his perspective, like there's no one he likes. So that's where it got a little exhausting for me, but he does a very good job at what he does, obviously.
I guess he covers Steel Toe and Kevin Brennan, according to Hackrad.
Okay, yeah, so he dips his toe into the Dabbleverse.
Right. We never do that.
Never. Certainly not. This is when I got excited for, and we talked about it a little on the Kirk Minahan show the other day. Dan Schneider's interview, where if those of you that don't remember, it's been mentioned over the years, but it was first said, I think like almost 5 years ago, where Kirk's idea was that I have a show called, I believe the working title was No Apology Necessary.
Right.
Where I sit down with the likes of Bill Cosby and O.J. Simpson, Kevin Spacey, you know?
Right.
And I say, guys, I just want to talk about your careers. Don't even bother. You don't bring up the controversy, because I'm certainly not going to.
Right.
This guy, he gets close to that. I think he would be a great sidekick for me on that show. Because it seems like he knows exactly how to maneuver an interview. If you want to create a puff piece to support a predator. So, would you say most people know the Dan Schneider allegations?
So, did you watch the documentary?
A little bit. I haven't finished it.
I watched the first part, and he's just weird to everybody.
He's a weird dude, and to me, he is Harvey Weinstein of kids television,
of Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Now, the allegations aren't as criminal as Harvey. Like, Harvey Weinstein was accused of rape. I don't think that's the case in any situation with Dan Schneider. It doesn't seem.
Not him, but people on his staff that he hired.
So, we'll get there.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan Schneider seems like a bad guy. This was not a big story, I think it shows you a lot about the media and Hollywood and how it's all connected and stuff. If it's not a sexy story, then CNN's not talking about it. Mm-hmm. You know? People aren't quite as outraged when it's a weird looking guy that worked for a kids network, you know?
Yeah.
Which shows you how much they care about crimes and victims. But yeah, the allegations against Dan Schneider, again, are not criminal in nature. He just seems like a bad, creepy dude.
Yep.
And there's a documentary out on Discovery and HBO that outlines a lot of what was going on at Nickelodeon. It hasn't been talked about a lot. Like, I heard Nick Mullen talk about a bunch back in the day. Someone commented on one of our videos saying that I guess ROTC talked about Dan Schneider a lot. Our boy Royce.
Yep.
So that was the kind of people covering Dan Schneider. It was podcasts interested in that stuff, but you didn't hear about it a lot in the mainstream media until now, where there's a documentary detailing all of Dan Schneider's misdeeds. And I think in order to restore his image, to fight the narrative that's happening in the media, I think Dan Schneider found the perfect guy to help him.
Yeah.
It's got to be it's got to be tough for these people. Like, athletes might call Jim Gray, or someone like that, where they have the respect in the business. Like, people, the general public might respect them as a good interviewer, but they're going to throw you a few softballs. They're not going to be too hard on you,
Yeah.
In the news, they're like one of the, the Today Show or Good Morning America, something like that. Maybe that would be a decent landing spot for you to kind of get some eyes on you, but not scrutinize you too much. Well, Dan Schneider said, I work in the world of kids, so naturally, there's only one choice.
Hey, it's Boogie. I play T-Bone on Nickelodeon's iCarly.
Hold on. Let's drink that in for a moment.
This very serious interview we're about to watch.
He was on iCarly? One of the shows involved in the allegations.
That was the point. Obviously, this black guy with dreads isn't going to lie about me, right, guys?
Ridiculous. Hi, everyone. I'm Christoph Waltz, and I'm going to be talking to Harvey Weinstein today. Harvey, what did you do?
It'd be like if Christoph Waltz was like, hi, I'm Dingleberry. I'm going to interview.
Oh, well, sure. It's also a ridiculous name from a children's show. But I'm trying to heighten it to the level. Like, even if there was an ounce of respect to it, it would clearly be ridiculous.
I'm Christoph Waltz. The guy that got Django freed?
So Dan Schneider thought it would be a good idea to be like, listen, you guys think I harassed my employees, so I'll get a kid that worked for me and maybe I abused based on some of these allegations. There's no chance. Listen, for legal reasons, I'm going to put this opinion out there. I don't think there's any chance that this kid was groomed by Dan Schneider and now feels some sort of loyalty towards him that he has to do an interview like this, Yeah. He definitely doesn't look at Dan Schneider as a father figure because of some weird behavior that Dan perpetrated onto him. There's no way that's the case.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Hello, Boogie.
Nickelodeon's iCarly.
Hey, it's Boogie, back for another hard-hitting interview.
Hey, it's Boogie.
The what I would like is the 60 Minutes montage.
How old was this guy on iCarly, by the way? He's old.
I don't remember him on the program, but iCarly was on like 16, 17 years ago, right?
iCarly it was after my time.
Yeah, I think I was probably in high school when iCarly was on.
Yeah.
So it's quite some time ago. But I just like to think of the 60 Minutes montage. I don't know who's on there now, but like when I was a kid, it was like, I'm Mike Wallace. I'm Boogie. From TV's iCarly. Hi, I'm Boogie from TV's iCarly. You're about to see something very serious about sexual misconduct. This guy's perfect.
David Collins. He says, crap, where'd it go? He says, Quiet on Set was an attack on comedy.
This is honestly like if I had these allegations against me and you just heard, "Hi, I'm David Collins from David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show.
He's going to interview you.
I'm here to talk to Mike about, being accused of harassing children. Why did Mike call Amanda Bynes in the middle of the night? I, David Collins, am going to find out."
I, Boogie, am going to figure this out.
Yeah, that's the problem is, like, there's no comparison because you'd have to give David Collins a fun nickname.
You know what's the funniest thing is, like, Dan Schneider couldn't look more like a pedophile back then, and he couldn't look more like a pedophile on the run now.
Yeah, it's a propaganda drawing for Craig's people. Like Craig and his buddies see the likes of Dan Schneider, and they're like, "Hey, we don't all look like that."
I'm a handsome man.
Yeah. We might not get through this first clip. I want to hear Boogie again.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Hi, I have a name that if Craig made it up, we'd assume was a racial slur. Now I'm about to conduct this interview.
Hey, it's Boogie. I play T-Bo on Nickelodeon's iCarly. I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss. I'm pleased to say...
Oh, did you, Boogie? I was sitting there, and I'm watching the documentary, and I said, "Hey, Danny.
You want to talk about fucking kids?"
Hey, Dan, I'm reaching out to you. There's no way this is a desperate attempt to save your career. I'm just going to shoot you a text and say, come on over. We'll break some bread. We'll each have a Java and talk about the old days.
Yes. Dan, how are you?
I'm okay.
Gets right into acting. I don't know what he was like on, Salute Your Shorts or whatever show he was on, but he's lost his acting chops.
Yeah,
he has not captured the Herman's Head days, unfortunately.
I believe this was he played the manager in Good Burger.
Oh, well, that's, he brags about that was the first movie he produced for Nickelodeon. When people say, oh, I didn't even think of this aspect. One of the allegations is that, like, a black actor that worked for Nickelodeon said that they were held down due to racial discrimination and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It didn't even dawn on me that that's why this gentleman is doing the interview. But he's like, listen, I produced Good Burger.
2 black kids.
Which it's just hilarious. I don't know if Dan Schneider's a racist or not, but it's just hilarious because it's a kids network. The content, it's like, hey, do you think the producer of Global Guts would do these things to children? Would Mike O'Malley work for that kind of man? I think not.
I'm okay. I really appreciate you reaching out and giving me the opportunity.
Go back a little. I want to hear the introduction again.
Boogie looks like he's in pajama pants and dress shoes.
Well, he just rolled out of bed and he wondered if Dan wanted to talk about this. Folks, buckle up. If you don't like pausing and rewinding, this ain't for you. This is going to take us a while.
The show's not going to be the one you want. Oh,
we're doing a much more thorough examination than Boogie himself.
It looks like, I'm not even going to say it.
What?
It looks like Boogie played a salesman of some kind on iCarly. Let's just say he's selling things on a stick that you'd be like, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay. I think I know that character. Oh, that's interesting. Is it racially charged, perhaps?
Possibly.
Okay, interesting. I have 2 guesses.
What's your first guess?
I won't say.
Does it start with a B?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Interesting.
Think of
yeah, so let's go back, because I want to hear Boogie introduce Dan Schneider. This is from the days of Mike Wallace, who I mentioned earlier, 60 Minutes. Matt Lauer, he had his own misconduct, but he would have interviews like this. And you always remember interviews starting like this with, like, Charles Manson, let's say, R. Kelly, any predators throughout time. This is always how the interview starts.
Hey, it's Boogie. I play T-Bo on Nickelodeon's iCarly. I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss.
Does this guy interview people typically?
I don't think so.
He's
Boogie from iCarly.
I saw it quiet on set and went, I need to interview this man.
I suspect if he interviewed people a lot, he'd say, "Hi, I'm Boogie, skilled interviewer." Not the guy that handed out racial foods on iCarly.
Hey, it's Boogie. I played T-Ball on Nickelodeon's iCarly. I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss. I'm pleased to say that he said yes.
Yes.
Dan, how are you?
He said yes.
Danny, what's cracking?
Danny boy, woo!
I don't know if I hear Robin Roberts say that to people being charged with all kinds of allegations. Robin Roberts just, Danny, what's cracking? How they hanging? Fucking George Stephanopoulos with Bill Cosby. Bill, have you been crushing lately? How are the jokes on stage?
I'm okay.
Oh, good.
I really appreciate you reaching out and giving me the opportunity to talk to you about what we saw over the last 2 nights.
I'm really glad you're here because I believe this is important.
For sure.
We've got a lot of things to unpack. But before I dive into my list of topics that I'd like to discuss, is there anything you'd like to start off with?
Absolutely.
Again, I don't know if that's typical of an interviewer. Dan, take it away.
I did not have sexual relations.
I remember Bob Costas saying, now, Coach Sandusky, where would you like to begin? Want to talk X's and O's? What do you say? Let's stick to football on this one. What would you like to talk about? Clearly, it's not a puff piece when the interviewer says, excuse me, man on trial. What would you like to start with?
You determine the direction of this interview, please.
Lead me. Here's my leash. Drag me wherever you'd like to go.
This is everyone watching this like, oh, he's gonna get grilled this first question. They go, all right, let's shut it off.
No, but maybe you ease him in. Well, I can't even say you ease him in with a softball because there isn't a question. He starts with Coach HP's final question. Dan, you got anything for me? What do you got, Dan? Hey, Dan, how about plugs? What's coming up in the future for you?
Yeah, today on the show, we got Dan, Nickelodeon. What up?
Hi, I'm Boogie from Nickelodeon's iCarly. Dan Schneider, tell the people where they can find you. Throw his Instagram handle up there, please.
To discuss. Is there anything you'd like to start off with?
Absolutely. Watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult. Me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret. And I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
It's very big of you, Dan.
Wow.
Now, Dan, one moment. We've got, coming in via satellite from Florida, we've got the Juice himself, O.J. Simpson. O.J., what would you like to talk about? Bills days? 2,000 yards? The floor is yours, my friend, wherever you want to lead us.
Right here, we're gonna get right into massages.
Boogie, no, there is no doubt. Whenever I find, because as we found out this morning, we need Craig on this program. Whenever I inevitably get the call that he's been pinched, I say, Boogie, strap in. You're giving Craig an interview.
That would be awesome. We need to look as good as possible.
Hi, I'm Boogie from Nickelodeon's iCarly. Craig, what would you like to talk about today?
I'm like, I don't know. What's Joe Matarese up to?
Good. Good. Let's get into that.
Did he quit again?
Now, also keep in mind that Boogie, prefaced this by saying, I messaged Dan Schneider. It's not Dan's idea to do this interview at all. No, and there's no suggestion that this would be Dan's idea. Why would it? Why would he think to do it even? And his first question is, you got anything, Dan? I thought you wanted to talk to the guy.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Hey, it's Boogie. Oh, you know what? I know you already have some that you haven't included.
Mm-hmm.
I think hello, it's Boogie goes into the outro.
Is it about a giveaway that I didn't switch it yet? I have a folder with all the new sounds. I'm adding this for sure. Hey, it's
yeah.
Boogie.
Get this one in pronto.
I think it might have to be right after, and we have a meme transition. Hey, it's Boogie.
Yeah. It's Boogie. Oh, hello, Boogie. I imagine we're going to have a serious interview now.
Hi, I'm Box Eating Dad from X. I saw the documentary, very bad show. Crackers, tell me a Mike Vrabel story.
That's a great... Tell me a Mike Vrabel story. That's a much better analogy than the David Collins one, because it's just a funner name.
Very bad show.
Hello, I'm Hackride. There are some very serious allegations.
Oh.
Hey, y'all, I'm DJ Electrify. You know, Mike was accused of rape. We're going to talk about him today, but first, Mike, you want to talk about Brendan Schaub?
That would be amazing.
Thank you, Electra. I appreciate you having me here. Yes.
To show how serious we are, we're getting interviewed by French fries.
Electra, thank you for having me. Yes, I do want to start by saying I believe Brian Callen's wife is pregnant, and I never meant to cast aspersions on that.
But this is massages.
Oh, well, listen. It's one of the, I'm sure you saw it, Craig, one of the allegations that he's giving massages on set.
It was getting massages.
I mean, yes, he's making some of the cast members and staff give him massages, I should say. And that's a no-no that Dan is willing to own up to. So nothing to see here.
Does he get into the part where he says, if you give me a massage right now, I'll get your sketch in the show?
Well, Craig, it's all circumstantial, but I'm sure a skilled interviewer will ask that. If it was the first thing that came to your mind, I would say definitely a skilled interviewer like Boogie will nail him down on that.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday.
Let's talk about the massages. I gave you 2-3 of those. I didn't care.
I always quite liked them. I was always first in line, Dan. I don't know what the complaints are all about.
Today might be a 4-hour show.
We're never going to get through these Dan Schneider clips because Boogie is so good. You got to start at the beginning because Boogie... Listen, you don't want to be on Boogie's bad side here, or you might get this sort of treatment.
This is an interview you can tell was a child actor.
All right, guys, we finally got an interview with Michael Jackson, and handling it, Corey Feldman. Corey, take it away.
Hey, Michael. You like
hey, Mike. You know, you taught me dance moves, and I was nailing them. Michael, why does everyone think Ascension Millennium is ripping you off? It's totally new art. It's not a perfect Feldman, but it's what I got.
I enjoy it. It embodies him.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that.
Boogie, I'm going to take it even further. Man, you don't want to be on Boogie's bad side.
Buckle up, people.
I didn't know he was going to call it disturbing.
That'd be great if Dan was just like, oh, I thought this was... I thought we were friends, dude.
I didn't know you were going to go this hard on me. Dan, I'm going to say a couple words here, and then you take the interview from me. Take the reins, buddy.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong.
He says it so lightly too. He's not like it was disturbing. He's like, it was disturbing.
You know how you can tell this definitely isn't rehearsed? Is Dan doesn't have to interrupt him to start monologuing here.
Right.
Boogie doesn't have a question prepared.
He's like, he's gonna ask me 2 words and then
It was a little disturbing. Now I have nothing else to say, so I hope you're going to take the ball and run with it, Dan. Because I haven't prepared a question.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was a wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally...
Did you ever see Frost Nixon, Craig?
No.
It starts with the interviewer saying, "Hey, Richard, let's not talk over each other, all right? I'm gonna set up a question, but if you want to just interrupt me, find an opening and run with it. It's all you, baby." That's how every hard-hitting interview starts.
He's like, yeah. Now, did they get into the part of the documentary where they're in a staff meeting, in a writers meeting, and one of the ladies is there, and he goes, "You know what would be so funny is if you pitch that again while pretending to get fucked in the ass bending over a table."
You didn't hear Disturbing? That's under the umbrella of Disturbing. Did you not hear Boogie?
No, you just made it sound more vicious. He's like, "Disturbing," and he made.
I like Boogie. You know what's great about Boogie is he sees when an opening has been filled, when the gap has been filled. He says, "Listen, Dan, the massage is disturbing. Oh, you have a story you're going to go into. Perfect. I won't even bother asking my question then. It's all you, baby."
The lady, he goes, no, I swear to God, it'll be hilarious if you just bend over the table, pretend to get fucked in the ass, and tell me about how you want, like, Booger Man to be fucking saving a city.
Well, we don't need to get into specifics. Boogie captured it all when he said it's disturbing. Yes, sure. You can get into the horrifying details of him making a woman pretend she's being fucked for his own gratification. But did you not hear the word disturbing?
That's true.
That's all encompassing.
That's true.
We don't need to waste time with semantics.
You're right. My fault.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
I like that you keep starting over.
His transitions are unbelievable.
Let's talk about the massages.
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position.
It's disturbing.
That's how I should respond to, like, wait, Boney the Boner pops on here. That's disturbing.
It's disturbing.
Not a 2-part documentary about me.
It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around Video Village or wherever they happened, because there were lots of people there who witnessed it who also made it.
Hi, Dan. I'm sorry. I'm just a viewer of this interview. When you say you're sorry to all the people, what exactly happened? Because the interviewer just said it was disturbing. We don't know anything about these allegations. Could you get into, I don't know, maybe one specific about them?
Yeah, he's like, I made Amanda Bynes massage my toes with her mouth. That was probably rude of me.
But why? You said disturbing. Didn't you hear Boogie? This is why we turned on Chris D'Elia and why I didn't believe his story anymore. Because there was room to say, like, oh, Chris D'Elia got railroaded. People came out with things. People came out with these things that don't seem to add up, and it seems petty, like they had a vendetta against him. And then Chris put out an apology where he's like, guys, I cheated on my wife. He didn't address any of the things that he was actually accused of, and you start to think, oh, maybe he's guilty. And that's what's happening with Dan Schneider here, because they're not addressing anything.
Hey, it's Boogie.
No, we can't go back that far.
This is a 20-second clip. It's gonna take us 8 minutes to get through it. This is not rehearsed.
Oh no, you can tell that Dan didn't prep Boogie for this interview at all. It's legitimately Boogie was sitting on his couch, and he's like, "Boy, some of these allegations are disturbing. I gotta call my buddy Dan and ask him for an interview." And then we're just gonna sit down and let the cameras fucking roll. So we are not gonna talk about it at all.
Of all the people that could have interviewed this guy to help him, he goes, "I need Boogie."
Get me Boogie. What do you mean from where? Nickelodeon's iCarly, of course.
You need to do an interview quick. I got just the guy.
Hey, it's Boogie.
What's your follow up?
Let's talk about the massages.
I might have to remember how we had a Judge Joe Brown board, like strictly for him.
Yes. Yes.
I might have to make a boogie board.
Honestly, we could. That's fun. Did you do that on purpose, or was it a
No.
happy accident?
It was a very happy accident.
Honestly, we could probably have Boogie interview Judge Joe Brown. I think those clips line up perfectly, actually.
We might need to get Boogie on the show. Hackride, get Boogie on the show.
Yeah, get Boogie on. See if we can get to the bottom of this.
Boogie board. I did like that.
That's fun.
But yeah, this is definitely not rehearsed.
No chance.
Dan, talk to me about the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
No, and
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone watching.
Craig, we're gonna go back and we're gonna play that again. But just for a little context,
Yeah.
could you fill us in on some things that happen in the writers' room of Nickelodeon shows, such as All That?
Child rape.
No, come on.
He knows our stuff. Not cool.
Listen, man, I'm gonna be the first to say it, and I'm your friend, Dan, but not cool.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Hello, Boogie. Boogie, what do you think about the writers' room?
Let's talk about the massages.
No. That's the wrong.
I know.
Boogie, I'd like to hear about the writers' room, please.
Dan, talk to me about the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
no.
You're so right, Boogie.
You know what I can tell that's nice about this interview is you can tell that Boogie just wants to punch him in the face this whole time.
Scott Peterson, tell me about your wife, Lacey. From what I've seen, not cool.
I heard Boogie saw OJ before he killed his wife and was like, I saw your wife with that waiter, dude. Not cool.
Not cool, man.
Not
I gotta say. Boy, Boogie goes very hard on these crimes.
Honestly, if he had a different tone, these would be good questions.
I like the idea of a rapist on the stand saying, like, I did not think about my actions. But when I heard Boogie say that what I did wasn't cool, Your Honor, frankly, that's punishment enough.
This is a guy I thought was my brother.
It could be, Morgan Freeman's speech at the end of Shawshank.
Hey, it's Boogie.
when he's saying that, like, I could, whoa, what? You want me to say that I've rehabilitated myself and I've learned the error of my ways? Boogie now thinks I'm not cool. You don't think I've suffered enough?
Hey, it's Boogie.
Dan Schneider's like, Boogie, if only I had known. Listen, the 90s were a crazy time. And did things get a little out of hand? Sure.
Absolutely.
But if I had known that I would be viewed as possibly uncool in your eyes, I never would have done any of it.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Hello, Boogie.
That's how it starts.
I gotta say,
how it starts. There's no music, no intro.
No. That's go watch it. It's how it starts. I was a little old for iCarly. Maybe my younger brother's probably the right age. If you're in your 20s, because I'm 32, so if you're in your 20s, you're probably around the right age for iCarly. If someone said to you, "Hey, it's Boogie," would you be like, "Oh, of course," from Nickelodeon's iCarly?
Right.
Like, we all know, no further explanation needed.
Like, I know Amanda Bynes. I think that was the crossover, and when I stopped, like when she was on All That, I think that's when I.
Sure. Even like if Drake Bell said, "Hey, it's Drake," I'd be like, "I remember you." But I don't know if Boogie gets that sort of treatment out in the streets.
I don't think so.
Dan, talk to me about the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
No. no, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase.
Okay. You remember I said not rehearsed at all?
Yeah.
Let's go back and see Dan. I mean, Dan's merging onto the highway, and he has miles before the next car.
Like a blind man making that analogy.
He's like, listen, I don't mean to cut you off, Boog.
Pardon me.
There have never been clearer streets for Dan to take a detour down. Listen to the pause between Boogie saying it's not cool and Dan, quote, cutting him off.
Dan, talk to me about the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase, let me just say.
Boogie's in a different state. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right.
He cut off his own. Don't want to cut myself off there.
Boogie, I don't mean to cut myself off from stuttering and stammering and trying to get out of these charges.
Aren't you supposed to help me?
Whoa, Boogie. I said try and take it easy. I didn't know you were going to call me not cool.
Hey, it's Boogie.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase, let me just say, no writer should ever feel uncomfortable in any writer's room, ever, period, the end, no excuses.
Now, what about the mock sodomization that you created?
Well, tell us about that, Craig. Why don't you enlighten us?
It was the writer lady that he made bend over the table in front of the entire staff and pretend to get fucked in the ass while pitching her idea.
But again, are you suggesting that falls under the umbrella of cool? Are you saying that's a cool thing that happened?
Honestly, you're right.
Because Boogie has already addressed all the uncool things that were going on.
That's right.
So if you're saying Boogie didn't bring that up, then I guess you're saying that that's a cool thing that happened.
I'm petrified for this next clip.
Why? What's this?
The rest of them have been like 30 seconds, 20 seconds. Yeah. This is a minute 20.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think maybe Dan pontificates a little more on this one.
Batting average.
Oh, well, you know how they always say that, listen, like, you only get to rape 3 people. That gets you into the Hall of Fame, you know?
Let's talk about the massages.
Let's hear about Dan's batting average.
He's just talking about all the kids he fucked.
Oh, you've had.
But it's a one bad apple, Craig, as you know, spoils the bunch.
No, you've had a lot of success over 2 decades. Thousands of people have worked with you, for you.
There's a tremendous amount of people you haven't molested.
Don't you think it would have been like a tidal wave? I can't get over his fucking pajamas he's wearing during this.
I can't. Was there an interview where someone said, Harv, a lot of Oscars you've won. I mean, if we brought in all your accolades, we certainly couldn't fit them on this shelf. So, now, having said that.
No, you've had a lot of success over 2 decades. Thousands of people have worked with you, for you.
Okay.
Let's speak directly to the people who did not have a good experience with you.
Okay, I would like to speak to those people because I hate that anybody worked for me and didn't have a good time.
Sure.
You know me. You've been on my sets.
In your lab.
I've had some employees that have worked for me for 10 years, some more than 20 years, who would work with me again. But not everybody. There's still a significant number that didn't have a great time working for me. So my batting average isn't nearly high enough in that area.
Damn straight. But as I said, you molest 3 out of 10 actors, you get into the Hall of Fame, you know?
This is an unbelievable goatee he's growing because he lost so much weight. He's got so much extra skin under his chin.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Listen to this. And these are defenses even I couldn't come up with for Dan Schneider. Where realistically, if you look at the amount of people that have been alive in Dan Schneider's lifetime, there's what, 7 billion people on the planet now? Is that about right?
Yes.
Let's say 7 billion plus all the people that have died, lived and died throughout Dan's life. Probably much more than that, even. Percentage-wise, Dan Schneider has raped virtually no one.
Hey, it's
Think about that.
That's a pretty good point.
Think about that. Think about his batting average. Now, again, I also should specify he's not being accused of rape. That's also important. I keep saying that. It's just funnier to throw out there, but
It's heavily implied.
And the way they wouldn't get the best of me is that I would let the pressure of doing 40 or even more episodes per year, I would let that pressure get to me, which a good boss should never, ever do.
oh, the pressure.
The pressure got to me, so I just needed this person to rub my feet.
I had no choice. Don't you understand the pressure that only Amanda Bynes can suck out of you?
Dude, Amanda Bynes' parents went to court to get this guy away from her.
This job creates knots in your neck that only the cast of All That can work out of you. You need those little hands to get in there.
When you're stressed, there's nothing better than Kel Mitchell just rubbing your traps.
You don't want a grown man walking on your back. You need a child to do it, to get these knots out.
We're doing sure, I would snap at people sometimes. I would be snarky when I could have given them a nicer answer.
Meow.
Not give people the time that they needed. I would be in too big a hurry to get on to the next thing I had to do. And watching that show, it made me, there were so many times I wanted to pick up a phone and call some of those people and say, I'm so sorry, and let's talk about it. And I wish you'd had a better time, and I wish I could have shown you.
On the other end of that phone is, it's Dan Schneider.
Yeah, I don't know why every time I called someone, I heard, hello?
God, why? What have I done?
Please let me live.
Dan, you're violating the restraining order.
So, I'm so excited for this next one.
Hold on. I just like the idea that he's like, listen, like a lot of people liked me. Let's not forget that.
You know how many people thought I was cool as hell?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I can also be kind of a cool guy. Look at how much Boogie likes me. Sorry, what's the next one?
Another tough question.
Oh, Boogie has his feet to the fire here. He's like,
Hey, it's Boogie.
Picture, metaphorically, of course, this isn't actually happening for you audio listeners. But essentially what Boogie is doing right here is he's walking over to the thermostat. He's turning that heat up a little bit.
It's reading about 81 right now.
Must get pretty hot under these lights, eh, Schneider?
Let's talk about the massages.
He goes back to him.
You thought that was rough.
Now, you've written hundreds of episodes. Thousands of jokes have been told.
Yeah.
But currently where we are, some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children. What do you think of that?
Not naming a single one or playing the audio or anything. It's just, Dan, please, again, take it away if you could.
So from one of the episodes I saw, there was a guy playing a character on one of the shows called Noseboy, and the character was a black guy who he made his nose gigantic, and he had two black dick and balls on his shoulders. And
Okay,
the joke was he would sneeze on people's faces, so it just looked like cum shots. That was
that's
the
fun.
jokes.
That's good old fashioned fun.
You think?
Not weird at all. Listen, times have changed.
Or there was another one. It was like a character was the world's youngest rapper, and it was another black guy who played. He was in a leotard. It was like skin color completely, and he was supposed to be a rapping fetus on a kids show.
Okay. Well, Now, listen, I was a kid that watched Nickelodeon, and I don't remember being like, oh my God. Like, I don't remember getting a lot of like overt sexual content from it.
No.
So a fair argument, if Dan Schneider wanted to make a fair argument, it would be that, listen, we tried to pepper in jokes for the adults that were watching it that we thought would go over the kids' heads. We didn't think we were being in your face about it. So did we overstep, and have times changed where if you watch it now, maybe it's inappropriate and it wasn't back then? If Dan Schneider said that, I'd be totally fine. The main thing I have an issue with is Boogie not mentioning any specifics. It's just saying, Dan, you're a very successful man.
Did you see what he did to Ariana Grande with the potato?
What's that?
He goes,
Why don't you enlighten us, please?
She is sitting at the end of a bed.
Yeah.
And she goes, I wonder if you can get juice from a potato.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those thin potatoes. Looks, kind of like a penis.
Sure.
And she just grabs two hands and starts moaning and squeezing it. She can't. And it ends with her going, I'm thirsty. So she lays on the bed and pours water on her chest and face.
Well, listen. Again, the parents might get it. It'll go right over the kids' heads.
So all that happens, and meanwhile, we're stuck with,
Hey, it's Boogie.
But yeah, again, so here would be a good back and forth. If you had Dan Schneider on any kind of hot seat here, he would say what I said about how times have changed, and you might be writing for two different audiences at the same time. And then a skilled interviewer could say, how about when you had Ariana Grande virtually jerk off a cock and then squirt potato cum all over her face and neck? How about that, Dan? But instead we get...
oh, shit.
Hey, it's Boogie. Let's talk about the massages.
I want to hear... the one I like is, Dan, 20 years of success. Thousands of episodes. That is legitimately like O.J. Simpson, Heisman Trophy, 2,000-yard season in 14 games. Nicole Brown Simpson, any thoughts?
I don't remember hearing about this stuff when Pete and Pete, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And you can't say that on television we're running. It'd be great if Are You Afraid of the Dark were just all sex crimes.
They're just pouring cum on their faces.
Well, that was the thing too, is it's like,
hey, we're getting slimed, guys.
I was gonna say that.
Hey, getting slimed is cool. I don't care who you are.
It's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Next we have that.
Oh no, sorry, I want to hear that last one again because I want to hear Boogie.
Oh, hold up.
I'm sorry.
Shit. Hold on one second.
Oh no.
I got rid of it already.
Oh, you fool.
No,
We're never done. We're never done with a Boogie clip.
That's so true. Nope, not that one.
Is there no way to get it back?
Which one am I on? That's what I need to figure out here. 6.
Another tough question, I think, was the title of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. See, guys, this is why I'm important, everybody.
Yeah.
Now,
Brad couldn't have done this.
you've written hundreds of episodes. Thousands of jokes have been told.
Yeah.
But currently, where we
My favorite is his. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm prolific.
Yeah.
You think you've seen Mark Norman's joke book? You should see what I'm working with.
Hackard says Doubledare was the head of the global trafficking ring.
The answers are up this nose.
now
On a flag.
you've written hundreds of episodes. Thousands of jokes have been told.
Yeah.
But currently, where we are,
Uh-huh.
some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children.
Mhm.
What do you think of that?
I love the way he's like, listen, you've told so many jokes a couple of them people have a weird problem with, like Ariana Grande jerking off a potato till it comes. Till it comes in her mouth, no less. Now, again, that is something that I could have watched as a kid and not understood the adult context. Should I be seeing it on Nickelodeon? But there's a fair argument to say no.
Probably not.
You know? But we're never going to get that because Boogie says, Dan, take it away, my man, wherever you want to bring us.
Now, you've written hundreds of episodes. Thousands of jokes have been told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But currently, where we are,
Uh-huh.
some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children.
Mhm.
What do you think of that?
He had a character Amanda Bynes played named Penelope Taint.
Penelope Taint.
I think it was Penelope Taint.
Some of these may have crossed the line.
And they were talking about like, oh, we're never gonna get that approved. And he's like, no, taint, like tainted. And he like goes like, like he like elbows the people, and they're like, all right. And then it was all dick and balls jokes. Like
He elbows the child giving a massage. Get it? All right, what's next?
we have that's big of you.
Well, he's certainly not talking to his victims because they are children. But let's hear what Dan has to say here.
Oh, just like I would have done 20 years ago or 25 years ago. I cut it. I want my shows to be popular. I want everyone to like. The more people who like the shows, the happier I am.
Yeah.
So if there's anything in a show that needs to be cut because it's upsetting somebody, let's cut it.
So I think it's big for you to say, with your work,
Mhm.
if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut it.
I mean, that's
Yeah, hey, Boogie, that is really big of him to live in a fictional world where he can cut these jokes out now. Oh, man, that's really big of you to have a documentary made about you and say, oh, well, let's just pretend it didn't happen. That's big of you. To say in a world where I don't have the power to cut these things and it already exists in history, but if I could make it go away, I would.
Let's cut
It's
it.
again, we'll keep with the OJ analogy because it's the most fun. It's It's OJ saying, like, listen, gang, in an ideal world, would Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman live? Absolutely.
Sure. So
Why not? Would I bring him back to life? You betcha.
it's too bad that fictional guy that was with OJ was like, cut it. And he was like, okay.
Charlie.
Charlie.
I think it's big for you to say, with your work,
Mhm.
if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut
Get
it.
away, Danny. You're a big, expansive man.
He's learned his lesson.
That's damn noble. I don't think Boogie goes far enough in complimenting Dan in how mature that is. That, hey, if it gets him out of trouble, just fucking nix it. 76 this, 86 this thing, whatever the expression is.
My favorite though is Boogie like sets him up like Stockton to Malone. He's like, you know, if something comes up, he goes and does the cut it pantomime, and Dan just goes, cut it.
Yeah, Dan Schneider originally asked Dave Coulier to do this, but he declined.
Today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut it.
I mean, that's a solution.
The last thing I want to do is put any content.
No, it isn't, Boogie. Here, I guess we have to explain time to Boogie, unfortunately. So, Boogie, here's the issue. The episodes in question ran, I don't know, 20 years ago? Saying now that you can cut them does nothing. Part of the problem is, if anyone in the writer's room said, hey, Dan, I don't know if we should have inanimate objects splooge on girls' tits. Dan would fire them or verbally accost them or make him give them a massage. That's really the core issue that I think Boogie is missing. Now, it is very big of Dan to, in a fictional universe, say, hey guys, cut whatever you want. Hack this thing up.
That's going to upset my audience and make them want to turn off the TV. Why would I ever want to do that?
Oh, hold on. Is that the end?
Yeah.
It cuts off a little bit, but Boogie goes, that makes sense. Like, Dan's just a magnanimous guy. Like, hey, if people don't like something, get rid of it. Oh, wow. The problem is it happened, Dan.
Got it.
Listen, hey, guys, if kids don't want to be showered with by Jerry Sandusky, by all means, here's a towel. Get the heck out of here, kids. That's very big of you.
Oh, man.
Very big of you.
This next one is called Approval.
Oh, okay. Well, I forget what some of these are. I can only imagine between Boogie and Dan Schneider where approval is going to be exchanged.
Says, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of elaborate on something.
Okay.
It's about time.
Thought process from the series is you had the power to just write a joke, and no matter what, it's going on TV. You just had that type of power. Is that true?
The notion that I had the power to just produce whatever I wanted and have it air is completely false.
Okay.
There were many, many levels of scrutiny. Okay. We had executives in LA. We had executives in New York.
So two coasts.
Two coasts.
Okay.
Yes. And by the way, approval.
Boogie, if it wasn't for gosh dang Mexico and Canada, it would have been 4 coasts.
In New York.
So two coasts.
Two coasts.
Okay.
Of approval. Coasts. Yes. And by the way,
2 coasts of approval. Who the fuck has ever said that?
So 2 coasts of approval. This is oh my God. This operation has been approved by 2 coasts. Get it there.
I was gonna say, like, he goes 2 coasts, and Dan's like, my God, I got my next big character.
Alarms are sounding off.
Dude, you want to play?
We need to get this on air stat.
You're black. Do you want to play 2 coasts?
It's got 2 coasts approval.
So two coasts.
Two coasts.
Okay.
Of approval.
Coasts.
Yes. And by the way,
2
approval.
coasts of
Really.
approval.
Okay.
And I'm talking about wardrobe. I'm talking about makeup, sound, sets, dialogue, jokes, everything.
Now, when you say approval, these obviously that's a hierarchy, not your colleagues in the room. Okay.
No.
Oh, well, hey, Boogie, if I could suggest something, and I'm not a skilled interviewer either, so who am I to get in the way of an artist here? But if I could suggest something to Boogie, I would say maybe, are you part of a pattern of misconduct? Maybe are a lot of people involved in this, rather than like, oh, then it's probably the boss's fault.
2 coasts.
It's probably New York and LA's fault. We're just going to be really vague and blame the literal coasts. Try and wrap your minds around this, folks. In a Boogie interview of Dan Schneider, the Harvey Weinstein of kids television, the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans have been held under more scrutiny than Dan himself. The water between us and Europe is under more fire than Dan Schneider for getting these massages.
2 coasts, dude.
2 coasts.
Now, we're getting some serious. This is about the pushback.
All right, what do we got?
I'm gonna push back a little bit because the series painted you in this way that
I gotta say another thing about this interview. He's pushing back here. This interview, the documentary was 2 parts. That's how many allegations there were. And that's how much there was to discuss about this man.
One was like part of staff and kids, and then the next one was like, now here's the real bad kid stuff.
Yeah. The interview, 19 minutes.
Yep. He got through it all.
After 19 minutes, Boogie's like, well, open and shut. No, I can't think of another question to ask you. We've really exhausted everything.
Now I'm going to push back a little.
All right, now here's where Boogie has had enough. He's fed up with this crap. He's gonna push back here, and boy, does Dan sweat.
I'm gonna push back a little bit
Sure.
because the series painted you in this way that you were just the guy that was doing what he wanted, and people were afraid to confront you about things. So just humor me. Say that was the case.
Whoa.
What would have been the ultimate way to?
Okay.
Let me get back up to the mic. Sorry, I've been pushed back on. Boogie's pushback sent me all the way to the wall here.
What he wanted, and people were afraid.
Hold on, it's a hard-hitting interview when 10 minutes in, the guy says, "Now, I hope you don't mind.
I'm taping it
I'm gonna start pushing. I'm gonna ask a follow-up here."
as he's taping up his fists. He's just like, "Yeah, let's do this."
There's not a single follow-up in this interview. That's my favorite part about it. It's question, Dan answers, Boogie says, "Nice."
He goes gospel, dude.
Preach, brother.
Afraid to confront you about things. So just humor me. Say that was the case. What would have
Humor
been?
me. Hey, let's pretend. Let's talk complete bullshit for a second.
Humor me
And-
like you did for the last 20 years.
Yeah, completely. Hey, make me laugh here, and let's pretend that you're a predator.
just for shits and giggles.
Let's live in a wild fantasy land. And in that world, you're a monster that had complete reign over a children's network for decades.
I can't get over how much of a pedophile this guy looks like.
And people were afraid to confront you about things. So just humor me. Say that was the case. What would have been the ultimate way to?
Okay. If nobody on the set, if all of the dozens and dozens of adults that were on the set, if they didn't say anything, if my bosses said, if they insisted, you got to make a change here, you got to cut that, I had to do it. I had no choice.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh. Well, then what the fuck are we doing here?
We're just talking about strictly on camera stuff, right?
Oh, we should all go home then. What you just heard was Dan humoring Boogie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't get an actual laugh. Boogie was so humored.
He just has like
Can you imagine Barbara Walters saying that? Now, Saddam, humor me for a moment. Let's pretend you've committed these atrocities.
Well, good thing you talk about. Now we got bothered.
Oh, I hope nothing's getting him hot under the collar.
Something that really kind of bothered me was how they depicted your relationship with the cast.
Oh, okay. Well, Boogie, this depicted a bunch of horrible allegations. I remember when I watched the Woody Allen documentary, and we talked about it in the Woody Allen episode of Why You Laughing. Go check it out, guys. Leave a like and comment while you're there as well, would you? I believe Woody Allen was kind of set up in a lot of this. Yeah. But watching the HBO documentary, I would dare say I'm bothered by a lot of it. Whether or not it's true, it makes you cringe a little bit. Let's go back to the beginning here and hear what bothers Boogie about this documentary that suggests Dan abused his power, was overtly sexual with a lot of these kids, and had them do certainly inappropriate things against their will, under fear of losing their jobs, whether it's writers, actors, whatever. You know, he wielded his power in a way that has been deemed unfit for the workplace. Let's see what bothers Boogie most about that.
Something that really kind of bothered me was how they depicted your relationship with the cast.
Yeah, it bothered me too.
Yeah, just me being there, I knew the dynamic was...
It bothered both of us, Boog.
You know,
We're both bothered right now.
Kenan Thompson walks out of a closet and you follow him licking your fingers. I don't know why people are so up in arms about that.
I understood that in situations where they may have had turmoil, whether it be with their families, whether it be other castmates, they came to you versus how they made you look. With that said, Amanda Bynes was brought up in the series and her emancipation and how you.
With that said, because it's very important, before we bring up Amanda Bynes, it's very important for me, the interviewer, to say, you're a pretty great guy, and this documentary didn't show that enough. Now, let's bring up Amanda Bynes.
He's like,
who called Dan Schneider in the middle of the night while she ran away from home, and Dan's going to say that that's all, like, I was really worried about her. Like, you know.
I was so worried I did an interview with her, and one place we couldn't be attacked, a hot tub while she was in a bathing suit. Next, we have Only Positive.
Well, Craig, as someone that watched the documentary, you probably know that only good could come from this.
That's right.
Regardless of what some people may think, I think it's only positive that you are there for people when they need you. That said, let's talk about some of the things that have just been swirling forever.
Everything is that said. Hey, Dan, you're a terrific guy. That said, the rapes.
Swirling forever.
Regardless of what some people may think, I think it's only positive that you are there for people when they need you. That said, let's talk about some of the things that have just been swirling forever.
Hey, listen, you're a terrific a humanitarian if I've ever seen one. I think you deserve to be showered with praise based on all the great things, years of success, thousands of episodes. I think you're a terrific guy. That said, pedophilia, your thoughts?
I need to know
pro or con
where they're filming this. Because there's wall art in the middle of the wall behind them. It's just half a bicycle.
It's just adults having consensual sex. So this is what I'm into.
You know, people be like, "Oh, well, he's in an apartment. He's hanging his bike on the wall." No, this is a bike cut in half in a frame.
Perhaps it's the Bible verse, like, we'll cut the baby in half. I'm thinking of the Seinfeld episode. Yes. We'll cut the bike in half.
Next we got Very Real Moment.
Oh, okay. Oh. So what Boogie was just talking about, he's like, we gotta get to the things that have been swirling forever. Mm-hmm. The thing that's been swirling forever is a guy named Brian Peck, which is odd because Drake Bell's co-star was named Josh Peck. What are the odds? But Drake and Josh was a show on Nickelodeon. I would say towards the end of my Nickelodeon run. Very popular. You hear people reference it to this day. And Drake Bell has had his own issues. And I guess he recently put out a song basically saying, the reason I'm fucked up is because of this situation with Brian Peck, where the accusations are that he was molested. Now, people are saying that Dan Schneider kind of fostered this environment. That's one of the big claims in the documentary. And so that's one of the things that have been swirling around forever that Boogie wants to address. And clearly, this is a very, we've mocked it, but this is a very genuine moment in the interview.
I don't know if people know this, but Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day. I remember this. She came to me at the time and she said, Dan, I'm not good with words like you are. And would you help me with my speech for the judge? And I said, of course. And I did. And he ended up going to prison. And
wait a second. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
And then he went.
Go back a little bit. I've cried on air before. And the thing about that is that you get embarrassed to the point where it's almost uncontrollable. Now you're like, oh, fuck. And then you really can't get out of it. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to applaud Dan Schneider for tearing up in a way that lets us know how emotional he is about this. And then just immediately sucking those tears back up. Voice is perfectly fine. No issues. He's back to normal Danny that we all know and love.
Just shuts it right off.
Boy, that faucet is... Oh, he slammed that shut.
Dan, I'm not good with words like you are. And would you help me with my speech with the judge? And I said, of course. And I did. And he ended up going to prison and serving his time.
That's amazing. He turns on a fire hose and then is able to shut it right off without a droplet coming out. It's amazing. Let me hear that one more time. The transition from crying to just, and then, you know, the man served his time and justice took its course.
Judge. And I said, of course. Yeah, I did. And he ended up going to prison and serving his time.
No.
And yeah.
No harm, no foul.
Darkest part of my career. And here's the kicker that I really
listen to how crystal clear that voice is now.
Here's the thing that's an absolute gas.
Guys, get ready to laugh. I know I was crying 1 second ago. He is crying harder. I hate to go back again, people. I apologize.
Okay.
I want to hear him cry again because that he's like weeping for 1 second, which is very impressive.
I said, of course.
Oh, listen how choked up he is.
And he ended up going to prison and serving his time.
Oh, those eyes are dry as a bone all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was probably the darkest part of my career. And here's the kicker that I really don't get.
Oh.
After he got out of prison and was, to my knowledge, a registered sex offender, he was hired on a Disney Channel show.
It's Disney's fault, those bastards.
Throwing them under the bus.
You know who it is? The mouse should be on trial here.
I didn't see nothing. Oh. We need more men like you in our lives. Oh.
Boogie's like, you've heard it. It's Disney's fault. Now, yes, I'll grant you, that's very strange that after he got out of prison, he worked for Disney. But I would suggest that you're the one on trial here, Dan. Maybe keep those fingers. You know, they say when you're pointing a finger at someone, there's 4 more pointing back at you, or whatever the phrase is.
We're not like that pedophile Dan Schneider. Oh.
I wish I did a good Mickey.
Just do the South Park one.
Oh.
Exactly. You nailed it.
He was hired on a Disney Channel show.
You better watch your mouth, fat boy. Oh.
I don't understand that.
Gosh, Dan, why are you accusing us of rape? I don't know if you're any better than us. Maybe take stock of your own life, Daniel.
Tell Scrooge McDuck to fire up the chopper. Oh. It's war. Oh.
Disney. You know who the real perpetrator is here is Miley Cyrus. That bitch. Disney. Imagine the audacity to bring up Disney in this interview. Listen, I'm sure they have their skeletons too, and someone should look into that. But
He hears him say that. You just hear Donald Duck do his spastic scream. God, I can't do.
Oh, it's O.J. Simpson being like, "Do you know who Darren Sharper is? God damn it! Everyone's always talking about me." Ray Lewis. They never solved Ray Lewis's murder either. You know.
I think Dan's just pissed that Mickey didn't hire him.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I can't get a fucking writer's job to save my life. I read somewhere, I forget if he talks about it here or if it's one of the articles I read, but he's pitching like an adults show. which frankly I can't wait to see, to be quite honest with you.
He was hired on a Disney Channel show.
Kick your ass.
Makes you wonder what they're doing, huh, Boogie?
Yeah. You should go hire them. I mean, interview them.
I don't understand.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing it.
That was great. I don't understand.
Listen to Boogie. Boogie. Dan just completely throws Disney under the bus for no reason. And Boogie, this is Boogie's response.
I don't understand that. I don't understand.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that, man. Are you okay? You want to take a minute?
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, so the best part about that, he's like, "You want to take a break?" He goes, "No, we can keep going." I think this was the end, basically.
Yeah. No, it ends 3 minutes after that. This is 16 minutes in, I think. It ends at 19 minutes.
Yeah.
Boogie's like, "Hey, man, you want to keep going? I don't know if you're going to be able to handle the next 3 minutes under these bright lights."
This next clip should have been just called Coach Boogie.
Are you sure you don't want to leave this Boogie interrogation? You think you can handle? Dan, you cried for 1 second there and then immediately accused a corporation of doing things far worse than you.
Guys, go attack! And like all of a sudden, just fucking all the brooms from Fantasia break in the room. You just start kicking the shit out of them.
So Boogie's like, "Hey, Dan, are you sure you want to collect yourself?" Which Anderson Cooper, I'm sure, does all the time when he's talking to criminals.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you okay? You need a tissue?
This next clip is, "You got anything?"
Yeah, well, this is like, hey, we're wrapping up here. I mean, I'm out of questions. What more could Boogie possibly ask?
What kind of specifics could I possibly get into?
Yeah, so he's all out of juice here. So maybe Dan brings something to the table.
I think we really impact some important things. We set the record straight on a lot of things.
Like what?
I'll let you die.
Name one thing.
We set the record straight. It was basically him going, "No, this all happened," and Dan was like, "Yeah."
But Boogie's like, "I'm glad we set the record straight. All these allegations were made. We addressed basically none of them. We talked in vague generalities about a lot of them, but we didn't really dive into anything. So I think a lot of good work was done here. I say we close up shop. I think it's quitting time. What do you say we grab a burger and get the hell out of here?"
I think we really impact some important things. We set the record straight on a lot of things. Before I let you get out of here, I appreciate the vulnerability that you use in knowing that there's definitely things that you would have and should have done differently.
Yeah, he's been very forthright with a lot of that. It's good.
Is there anything
I'm glad Boogie appreciates it.
Is there anything that we haven't discussed? Anything that if you could go back and navigate the journey differently, what would that look like?
Craig, you got anything?
Do you understand the charity work I've done?
Anything you saw in the documentary they didn't touch on?
Oh man. I don't know. Workplace harassment. Didn't touch on that. For starters. Really didn't
Hey,
say
Boogie, if I could, I got one. I know you're asking Dan directly, but I got one. How about the documentary?
You know the thing we're here for? We didn't talk about it at all. Yeah, why didn't you when they reached out for comment, how come you didn't? That would have been my question.
Yeah, right.
What would that look like?
Yeah, there's definitely things that I would do differently.
Sweet.
Oh, that's nice. I'm glad we got there.
Guys, we're down to our last clip.
Oh no. I'm sad. This is sad. I wish this could last forever, but here we are at the end of our journey.
I need Boogie to at least interview more people. I don't care who it is and about what.
No, yeah, that's where you're wrong. He needs to only interview criminals that he likes.
That's true. Manny Muskets in the chat says they cleared up the facts that there were 2 coasts of approval.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, before I didn't know, had it been, I figured either New York or LA signed off on a lot of Dan's writing.
Yeah.
But my God.
East Coast and West Coast had to turn the key at the same time for that to get on.
If you think about that, think about what long distance charges were back then.
That's right.
Like in the 90s, a call from coast to coast was not inexpensive, my friends.
You're
So
right.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
This last clip is just called The End.
Well, yeah, it's a nice bow on a great interview.
And I would do everything that I could to make sure that everyone had a good experience. That's what I do differently.
Dan, I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.
That was it.
Thanks for stopping by.
And so we established it's Boogie's bike.
All right, Kelly, thanks for stopping by, brother. I have no idea if you pissed on those children. I don't know if you were keeping them in your home as a slave. But one thing I do know is that I appreciate you stopping by.
Oh, man.
Oh, one of my favorite interviews ever. Like, the Costas Sandusky interview is great because the answers that Jerry Sandusky gives are ridiculous. But never have I seen a tag team duo like this before.
Never.
That's incredible. So shout out to Boogie. I hope you get more interviews with alleged child harassers.
We got some super chats.
All right, let's catch up.
Fun, okay. For $3.33, because $2.22 is too small. Go Huskies.
I appreciate the same three people super chatting us all day. Like, I'm not being sarcastic. We don't have a lot of super chatters. I appreciate those of you out there that keep doing it.
Dino Raja, $2. When will you get Ojeda back on with you?
I was thinking, I don't know. Election season seems right to me.
It seems right, but also if he finds out I do a Newsmax podcast, it might ruin the relationship.
No, but we told him we were pretty forthright about you. No,
maybe
not.
I have to go back and watch.
Yeah, I don't know. But that'd be a great thing to bring up on the show.
Oh, it'd be so funny. Him just threatening to beat the tar out of me.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe sooner rather than later with Richie.
Dennis in East Boston, $2. How y'all doing this fine evening?
What's up, buddy? Thank you for joining us, Dennis.
Hello.
And thank you for the super chat.
Carl's Frosted Tips, $2. The interviewer looks to me like Stuttering John in a wig.
Is that right?
I didn't get that. Dang Lizard, €5. Hi, I'm Tukey from YouTube's Tukey Soup, and I'm here to do a hard-hitting interview with Carl Hamburger regarding recent allegations of craigophilia.
Whoa!
Yes!
Carl's describing how innocent he is, and Tukey just goes, "Oh, fantastic!" That'd be great if Boogie ended this interview with "Love you more than a friend."
It would be very funny. Phil McCooch, $5. OJ has a better batting average on not murdering people than Dan has on people he hasn't forced to massage him.
That's true. That is true. Yes, the facts are all there.
If only we had jingles. Rhubarb diff. $50.
Thank you. Wow, thank you very much, Rhubarb Diff. That's a great name, by the way.
It is.
Rhubarb Diff.
Hey, it's Boogie. Israel and Palestine. I mean, neighbors have little spats sometimes, right?
It's him talking to Netanyahu. Now, they say you're not getting along with your neighbors. Not cool, man.
And Wes Little, $5. Quote, Boogie was an adult on the show, so old Dan probably left him alone.
Yeah, is that true? I don't know if he was an adult or not.
He was.
He seems relatively young.
Seems old.
I'm saying young enough to have played a child on a Nickelodeon show in the last 20 years.
No, he was a full blown adult on that show.
Oh, okay.
I looked at screenshots of them
Gotcha.
selling things that were questionable.
Can you tell me now that we're far enough away from?
If you think of a fruit that an African American gentleman eating would be pretty racist, that's not a melon of some kind.
Oh, I thought.
There may have been.
I don't know a second one.
Frozen. These were sold.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know why you couldn't just say banana, but I got it.
I don't know. With that, I don't know.
Hey, it's Boogie.
All right. Yeah,
we're caught up. All right.
You're caught up there. Yeah.
In that case, let's move back to Austin, where we can talk about Ty Rivera, who's had some controversial things to say about the comedy Mothership. Do you know Ty Rivera at all, Craig? Familiar with him?
I do not. No.
Neither do I, really. And he had some very sour grapes. I went to Austin. I checked out the comedy Mothership as a fan. It was a great experience. I'd really like to go back. Like, that's one of my favorite comedy club experiences ever. I thought it was really cool. But apparently, according to Ty Rivera, working there, not quite the same. So he goes off on the comedy Mothership. Now, before he made this video, evidently he was banned from the comedy Mothership, which banned sounds harsh. I think they just basically told him he wasn't working there anymore. Like, he's not a paid regular. So this seems like a lot of sour grapes, but let's get into it.
Yeah, and you're going to be blown away by the appearance of this feller.
Oh, I should say he bills himself as the best or the number one LGBT comedian in the world. That's what he says on every podcast. I saw Patrick Melton covered this topic, and he has a thing with Ty Rivera. Like, I guess him and Ty have gone back and forth in the past. He's covered him a lot. And he was talking about a bunch of allegations against Ty Rivera, and he talked about how bad his stand-up is and everything. His stand-up to me is like, it's not, I watched a recent, he put out like an hour, not a special, but like an hour of stand-up.
Jump cuts, basically.
I guess. But to me, it wasn't anything for me. It seemed like pretty basic. Like, hey, I'm gay. Isn't that crazy? But he wasn't like terrible. He has
crazy.
He has chops, you know?
Yeah, he's also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 face piercings.
Okay, so a sexy man.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty cool. Let's hear what he has to say about the Mothership.
I honestly, in my heart of hearts, do believe that Mothership could be everything that they're saying it is online. I'm just saying right now it's not living up, and a lot of what you're hearing about it is a lie, even if people don't realize that they're lying. That's the thing that people need to
I like that. These people, they might be saying they're having a good time, and they might actually believe it, but they're not.
Yeah, everything you said when you got back was just a lie.
No, it's not true. I'm part of the problem where, like, I thought I had a really good time there, and it turns out I didn't.
Deanna Marie in the chat said, "Holy shit, what a jump scare!"
Boom.
Oh.
about the Mothership. Yes, the Mothership is a great club if they're being good to you and if they're going to treat you fair. But as far as the
sure. Yeah, that's anywhere. Like, yeah, it's great if you're working there. If not, you'd like to work there. I guess those are the options, right?
Yes.
It's a great club to work if they allow you to work there. Sure, that I believe.
If you're good enough to be on Rogan's stage.
This is what I hate is how dare these people? And it plagues a lot of comedians and now podcasters in turn, because a lot of comics do podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of bitching that I hear has started to turn me off to a lot of comedy, because, like, I am someone that's interested in hearing about the grind and the work you have to do coming up, and how long it takes to become successful and everything that goes into that. I am interested in hearing that. But when I hear people bitch like they are owed something, that gets pretty exhausting. Like, that I'm sick of hearing from comics, where it's like, well, everyone else is at the comedy Mothership and I'm not. Wah.
Did you listen to the Kevin James episode yet?
No.
If you like that stuff, it's pretty good. And it kind of makes me look at him differently.
Talking about the old days, you mean?
Yeah.
Now, is Kevin James bitching about something? Like when you hear Jerry Seinfeld, is he still, he has a chip on his shoulder about Mitzi Shore still to this day, but is he making videos like, fuck the Comedy Store? No, because he's incredibly successful.
No, Kevin James is talking actually about how having shit sets is basically like putting weight on the bar, trying to figure out and like work through your shit. And he had a really funny story about a corporate gig that he just did not want to do because it was terrible.
Okay, well, that has virtually nothing to do with this, but let's hear,
Well,
let's hear more from Kevin James. I mean, Ty Rivera.
No, my point was Kevin James, of all people, doesn't bitch.
Right.
This guy does.
Well, it's because Kevin James is very successful, and Ty Rivera we have not heard of before. So let's hear his gripe.
Necessary to your career, the Mothership is not the end all and be all of stand-up comedy. And if you ask me, for as much as Joe and his friends would like to say the Mothership is the most like the Comedy Store,
It's just like the Comedy Store.
It is.
Yeah.
even when I was doing the most spots there, I would have told you that is not true. The Mothership is very exclusive. Everybody was welcomed in the Comedy Store. So that meant people that were maybe a little bit off. There were some street people that hung out there all the time. Boone Chakalaka, who recently passed away, the late
No,
Boone.
wait, hold on a second. I had different plans for this segment. Don't you tell me. Don't you dare tell me that Boone Chakalaka is no longer with us.
The great Boom Chakalaka is not with us.
Boone Chakalaka has passed?
He's gone.
My God. Give me a few seconds to collect myself. I'm going to pull a Dan Schneider here. Get very emotional for 1 second.
Can we?
Oh, Boone Chakalaka. All right, I'm fine.
R.I.P. He used to be there all the time. It was like a real cast of characters at the Comedy Store, and everybody was allowed there. That's actually kind of what gave it its flavor in a lot of ways. And it gave you some stuff to look at that was just like, wow, that was crazy. Mothership is nothing like that. They don't allow any riffraff in the Mothership. You're lucky if you get on the open mic if you're anything different. If you want to know, and I don't say this because I run the show there, but honestly, I've said this from the beginning, the Creek and the Cave is the most like the Comedy Store, because Rebecca, the owner of the Creek and the Cave, allows everybody there. And it's like the Comedy Store in the way that you really have to do something wrong to get banned from the Creek and the Cave. And believe me, I've talked to Rebecca about it and been like, we really need to get rid of some of these people. And she's like, this is what it is.
Hold on a second. What was that, Ty?
He was ready.
You said what?
He's ready for some cancel culture there.
You said we need to get rid of, you want to make it exclusive. That's very interesting. You're trying to get rid of some of the people at the club you work to, I don't know, make it more like the Mothership, perhaps? So it seems like Ty Rivera's big issue. So I have not been to the Comedy Store, so I can only imagine what it's like. I have been to the Mothership. I've seen what that's like. It seems to me the one big difference is that I didn't get to see Ty Rivera at the Mothership. Seems like it's interesting. Other than that, it's exactly the same.
Oh, shit.
Except Ty Rivera's not working there. That's what really annoyed me about this, is it's all predicated on the place not working him. It's weird. When he was working the Mothership, he didn't seem to have a problem with who they let in. I didn't see this video get made back then. That's weird.
It was pretty awesome when he was working there.
Yeah, that's strange. And then they decided to stop having him working there, probably because he does shit like this.
Yeah.
You know, when you constantly burn bridges and you're proud of it, that's great. It might make good podcasting. Like, this interested me. I thought it was an interesting video. I clicked on it. Probably one of his more successful videos, so it's smart to do. But if you want to get past in comedy clubs, it does make sense to not trash them. You know? If you're saying this is a shitty place to work, it does make sense that they wouldn't have you back.
And you can't really blame him. But here we have him talking about problems.
Oh, I'd like to hear more. Because again, he's talking about how exclusive it was. I saw a bunch of, I saw alt comics, I saw dirty comics, clean, I saw a variety of acts at the open mic. And successful people like Cam Patterson and Dave Landau dropped in. And then I didn't know anyone else. So it didn't seem like just names or Joe Rogan's friends to me. But Ty cites a few more problems.
I would hear Joe talk about how it wasn't about agents and managers in Hollywood. It was about stand-up comedy. And in my head, I thought, if there's any place I'm a good fit for, it is a comedy club that is just about stand-up comedy. Because for the last 20 years that I've been doing stand-up comedy, I eat, breathe, and sleep stand-up comedy. I am always doing spots. I do more spots than probably any other comic at my level. I still go to open mics like crazy. I'm going to one after this tonight. And for all I know, Joe Rogan doesn't even know the extent that things are going wrong at his club, because some of the stuff I'm going to mention will be very specific to me, but some of it also other comics have noticed.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad another bitter comic that can't get in is noticed. But you notice it is smart of Ty Rivera to be like, to be honest, Joe Rogan probably doesn't have any idea what's going on. I'm not blaming. I wouldn't dare blame Joe for this.
I'll go talk to him about it on his show.
It's certainly not the guy who made all the rules for the show, for the comedy club.
Here we have him talking about the money.
Okay, so my understanding of I'm not a comic. I have no experience in this world. My only knowledge is from listening to podcasts for the last 10 years and listen to a lot of comics talk about spots in New York. And the basic number I've heard thrown out there is that like spots in the city are $25.
Yeah, I heard like within the last 5 years it bumped up to 35 or 40.
That was the other number I was going to throw out. So I was like, I don't know if that's longer. Yeah, maybe it's bumped up to $35 or $40. Now, that's been the same since that's what Letterman and Leno were picketing for, basically. That's been the same for 50 years.
Exactly.
So Rogan said, I want to change that a little bit as best I can. Now, also to be clear, if you're not like a diehard stand-up fan, maybe you don't know, a spot is generally
7 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes, something like that. So for 7 minutes of work, it's this amount of money. And also it's something valuable to comics, like Craig was talking about, Kevin James saying, where it's valuable to comics to get on stage and test shit out in front of a new audience. So let's hear Ty talk about the money that you get at the Mothership.
I'm going to talk about is what it's like to be a comedian that actually works for the Mothership. Because up until just a couple of days ago, I was considered a Mothership regular. And I don't know Andrew Schultz really well, but we were very friendly when I met him. When he was talking about
the way that he's paying comics, it's bananas.
I remember getting excited because that was before I had gotten my first check from Mothership. And so I was really excited to see this check because I had done several spots in Little Boy, the small room.
Bro, bananas. It's like...
And I'm not acting like me and Andrew Schultz should get the same amount of money, but I am saying...
Can I submit something? It's good that you don't think you should be getting the same amount as Andrew Schultz. Can I just tweak that a little bit? You shouldn't be in the same stratosphere. Andrew Schultz is doing shows at Madison Square Garden.
Right.
They should absolutely be paying him to do a headlining set significantly more than what they are paying you to do a spot. That's true. That's not exclusive to Ty Rivera either. That's any comic who we haven't heard of should be making to do 10 minutes on stage should be making less than Andrew Schultz for doing a weekend of headlining, I would suggest. What were you going to say, Craig?
I was going to say, I'm an arena act.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, it was funny. I was listening to Ari Shaffir was on We Might Be Drunk, and they asked him, I forget if it was Sam or Mark asked him, have you accepted that Cat Williams was probably talking about you when he says Joe Rogan keeps having 6 comics on that have never been funny? And Ari goes, well, he was definitely talking about me because I'm on Sober October and Protect Our Parks. So anyway, you cut up the math. He's definitely talking about Ari Shaffir. It was very. Yeah, Ari said he wore it as a badge of honor, which was very funny.
Saying I end up getting my check, and what they pay per spot at Little Boy is $100, or that's what I only ever got paid was $100. Okay. I mean, like, don't get me
okay. So I'm assuming he's about to be appreciative because that's more than double what like comedy clubs in New York and LA pay, right?
Basically triple.
Yeah. So okay, all right, good, nice. You make more money there than other places, which is what Joe Rogan said he would do. Continue, Ty.
I'm always happy to get money. But when you're hearing online that
he took money from Spotify and is literally distributing it to comics in an insane way.
It's all this money. And even Mark Gagnon, one of his co-hosts on his show, Flagrant, who I met when him and Andrew Schultz were here, even he said that he made a lot of money and all he did was the small room.
I only did the little room when I went, and I did like 4 shows there, and I made money on the trip on just doing the little room.
And like I said, it's $100 for that room. And so in my
probably he made $400, I guess, which is probably less expensive than a flight to Austin. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I'm not seeing the discrepancy here, but continue, Ty.
Maybe the real money comes in when you do the big room, when you do Fat Man. So then I ended up doing a set for Tim Dillon and Giannis Pappas because Tim Dillon had requested it when he was in town. And I ended up getting that check and I was paid $200 to do the big room. So,
whoa. So now we're at what, 5-6 times? Even more if you use the 25 number, 8 times what comics are getting paid for spots. It sounds pretty righteous to me for 10 minutes of work.
Was talking about how much money you make doing this club.
It's just complete game changer.
But I don't think Andrew Schultz would be dazzled by $200.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry, Ty. He wasn't. There's a misunderstanding. You weren't making the same amount of money. That's like when I worked at Barstool, I made, maybe I shouldn't say, I don't know if they, but not a lot of money. That would be like me saying, but I see you pay Dan Katz millions of dollars.
What the hell?
His kids will be wealthy. That doesn't make sense. And they would likely come back and say, well, because if you leave tomorrow, the company will go on as if you never existed. Whereas we would like Dan Katz to continue working here. I think the same logic can be applied to Andrew Schultz, who is, yes, a friend of Joe Rogan and can probably contribute some of his success to Joe Rogan, but is playing Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Pretty much the pinnacle for any comedian's career. And you are Ty Rivera, who this is virtually the first time you're getting any recognition, really, is bitching about not getting the same money that Andrew Schultz got. And he does that thing where he's like, I'm not saying I'm supposed to get the same money as Andrew Schultz, but in a way you are. You're saying you want close, at least.
Right.
Where, again, I would assume when Andrew was there, what he's referring to as crazy money. And by the way, I've heard Joe List say the same thing, who's not a good friend of Joe Rogan. Like, they're friendly.
Right.
Joe's done his podcast and everything. But Joe List is not in the inner circle. And he said it's crazy what Rogan's paying comedians. And he said Karen Feehan got $3,000 to open for Rogan.
Damn.
Like, is Karen Feehan? I'm sorry, to open for Joe List, rather. So, like,
it's even crazier.
Yeah. So, like, is Karen part of the inner circle? You know?
Right.
I don't know. It seems like sour grapes here, Ty. But
what a beautiful segue to sour grapes.
Oh, well, I've only used the phrase 15 times, hoping we'd get there. So.
But what I got paid by the club was $200 per show, which I'm not going to sneeze at $1,200. $1,200 is still cool. Then I ended up hearing later from other comics that they were being paid $300. And so I basically got shorted $100 per show. And that seems kind of weird for a club that they say.
Rogan's like, I don't even care if it makes money. Yeah, I know. I just want to break even. Think about that. Yeah. He doesn't need it to make money.
And like I said, $1,200.
You know, he says this. It's like, yeah, he's apparently paying even more money than you thought.
Yeah, $1,200 for a weekend. Again, like I said, it sounded like Karen Feehan got more.
Yep.
But like, I don't know when this was in the timeline of the Mothership. Like maybe they started paying people more recently. I have no idea. But point being is, yeah, people don't always get the same money all the time. It depends on what they're doing there, how many shows they're doing there, all that kind of shit. And also, I would say, Ty, if you have an issue with this, demand that sort of money. If you hear other people are getting $300, say, hey, I know, which you probably don't, but I know that other comics are getting $300 a set, so I deserve that. Did you ever bring that up with them? Or did you just turn on your camera and start whining about it?
I need more money.
Yeah, did you throw a hissy fit? Because that in the history of these type of dealings, a hissy fit might be the worst way to go about it.
I thought if I sounded like Mitzi, Joe would like me.
He does. He sounds like the Mitzi impression a little bit.
Yeah.
Is nothing to sneeze at. But when it could have been $1,800 and you have it explained away why it is you didn't deserve to get that extra money or you shouldn't have gotten that extra money, then it does let you know that somebody does care about the money there. It's not the picture that they.
This guy's making a weird argument because Rogan's paying more money than he thought.
Yeah, it's a business still. He said, I don't care if it makes money, I just want it to break even. Well, breaking even, a business still has to, like, they can't just hand out thousands of dollars to everyone.
If he did this many sets on a night that's just like spots and not like an actual show, he would have got like $240 at most.
So Ty Rivera thought that you just walked into the Mothership and they open up a safe and there's $250 million from Spotify in there in cash. And Rogan just says, have at whatever you think is fair, grab it and leave. It's all good, Ty. Whatever you want is fine. No, I understand Joe Rogan said, I don't care if it makes money. I just want it to break even. Whether or not that's true, maybe he's a more shrewd businessman than we realize, and he does want it to make money. Actually, I was going to say drinks were pretty expensive there, but like for a comedy club, not really.
But it's also the most I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And from what I see, it looks like the most employees I've ever seen at a comedy club.
It is not a racket that they are running. Like, I haven't been there as a comic, just as an audience member, and I was only there once. So it's not like I have a crazy amount of experience. But it didn't seem like something to me where they were cheating people out of anything. It was truly one of the best experiences, if not the best, I've had at a comedy club ever. Like I said, the drinks were affordable. Like for a basic restaurant, maybe you could argue they were a little expensive, but not really.
How much?
I'm trying to think.
What did you drink?
I had an old fashioned.
Oh, that's gonna be pricey.
Not really. I think it was like $14 or something.
That is not expensive for an old fashioned.
Not at all for like for a cocktail.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think exactly, but I think that's what it was.
That's not bad at all. I thought you were gonna say like $18-20.
No, it was reasonably priced.
The MGM, just for reference for everybody, the MGM, that new venue outside of Fenway, it is $12 for a water.
Oh yeah, it's like $20 for a Sam Adams or something.
Yeah, it's insane.
And the other thing is they have security. They have people working the merch stand. Comics can sell their own merch. And they have wait staff. They have all these. They have, to Craig's point, they have a ton of employees there. So I don't know what Ty thinks. Like, yes, they don't care about money to the extent, but they want to keep the doors open. You got to keep the lights on, you know.
Right. And they it's on Netflix. Shit, what's his name? He just released the first
Ryan
special.
Simpson?
Yeah, it's just released the first special film there.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, is every set is filmed. Like, they have the capabilities to pretty much just turn on the cameras and film a Netflix quality special for you.
That's gonna save comics so much money.
Yeah, just do it at the Mothership. And it's like kind of cool to do it at the Mothership, so it's a place comics will want to do it. You know,
But but if you're new in Rogan's, like, I could see something, he'll just film it. It'll just, like you said, flick the switch and you got it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so this amount of bitching about this is it's smart for this video. You know what I mean? Like, it's a smart way to wave your arms and get a few views on a video, but long term it seems like a very dumb strategy to me.
When they're saying,
I don't even care if it makes money.
I'm not going to make that seem like the hugest deal in the world, but it is an actual thing when you consider that that's what people are saying. Like, oh, it's so much money. They're giving you so much money. And yeah, maybe to headliners, but a lot of clubs give a lot of money to headliners.
No, they're giving money to the smaller acts too. You just said you got way more money than people get for spots. It's not the same. Like, genuinely, it's not the same as going on the road with a comic. Like, yes, does Akash Singh make more opening for Andrew Schultz on the road? Probably.
Yeah.
But that's not a fair comparison. That's not what this club is.
Now, this is the last video, and this is the one that infuriated me.
Oh, okay. Oh, because it's about our boy, right? Adam Egan?
It's about our boy, and this guy's about to say a bunch of shit that is just not true.
Well, to be fair, though, I've heard. You know what I've heard about Adam Egget?
What?
Holocaust denier.
And then he likes to drink fucking jizz. This is him on Adam Egget.
Okay.
To me, the biggest problem at the club is the booker, Adam Egget. I think he was a huge problem at the Comedy Store as well. I don't think Adam Egget knows what he's looking at. I don't think Adam Egget should have a job. I've told him.
Does he know that Rogan stole him from the Comedy Store?
Yeah, but Adam Egget doesn't know what he's looking at. People just like hanging out with him. So that's why Norm took him around and had him on his show. That's why Rogan stole him from the Mothership and brought him to Austin. That's why all these comics respect him, because he doesn't know what he's doing. He just books his friends on shows.
Insane.
Told him that in person. The amount of favoritism that Adam shows just isn't fair. And there's no way that you're not going to.
You can tell he's an LGBTQ comic at this point.
Can I ask, though, would Ty think it was fair if he was friends with Adam Egget and getting booked on the shows?
Yes.
Would you think it was fair then?
Yes, you would.
So now let me ask you this, though. Is he pointing to, because we know that from the podcast and stuff, Shane Gillis is a good friend of Adam Egget.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the problem, this dirty bastard, Adam Egget, this son of a bitch, is booking Shane Gillis at his comedy club and not Ty Rivera?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
What is this asshole doing? Talk about nepotism.
End up in a toxic work environment when you are not really paying attention to the stand-up itself. When other people come in town, if I'm going to do less spots, I do think that's okay. But I know the visitors that we're having come into town, and I'll be honest, the visitors are his friends, and they usually do not do well. Nothing against her, and I know she's been on Joe Rogan Experience, but Kim Congdon, Sarah Weinshank. I've known Sarah for 8 years, and I have never seen her kill it. And I think a good booker, Adam, even if he dated Sarah back in the day, should be able to put his personal feelings aside and say, look, this is what's best for the club.
So that's going to be the next video.
It was the next video. I didn't cut that one up. It was a little hard to follow, and it seems like just like all bad blood between the two of them. But I listened to Kim and Sarah talk about it for a little bit. What's interesting is when they were in Austin, Ty Rivera put out a poster promoting that Kim and Sarah were on his show and saying, come see these guys. And by the way, I haven't seen Sarah Weinshank do comedy. I don't know anything about her comedy. I've seen Kim Congdon live. I saw her open for Lewis, and I've also seen her at Skankfest a bunch. She does kill. Like, she's very funny.
Yep.
So that's just like you don't like them as a person, so you're attacking them. But like, sure, Adam might be friendly with them and invite them down, but you're saying because Kim Congdon, who by the way also works the Comedy Store, is allowed to work at the Mothership, then it's not a good club?
That's right.
Like, it just seems like bitching for no reason. And then he makes a video going at Kim. I guess Kim was in his DMs and just calling him a loser. Like, Kim went off on... Kim has, she dated Louis J. Gomez for a while.
Yeah.
And she's got a little of that rattlesnake DNA left there.
Yeah.
She'll fucking torch someone. She doesn't care.
You can see why they were a fit.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, she went off on him. And like, my thing is, okay, you could say Kim and Sarah, but and he does something that's so annoying where Kim's response was like, hey, you said to our faces, like, great set or whatever. And in his video, he goes, no, what I said was, I look at them and I said, fun set, which is me saying it wasn't really that good. And it's like, oh, so you were just being a phony.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So they believed you and they're bitches because of it.
Lots of bad blood with this guy.
Yeah. So like, it is kind of interesting to hear him. Like, he makes a whole video going off on Kim and everything. So if you're interested in this story, look that up. But I just thought it was interesting because what he says about the Mothership is completely ridiculous. And like, I don't know a lot about Adam Egget, but I just know if he had the respect of Norm, I trust anything he does after that as far as comedy booking goes.
Like we said, Rogan stole him from the Comedy Store.
That's how important he was. And it's also weird, by the way, to say, hey, the Comedy Store was always great. and the Mothership sucks. And the one reason that is because the Mothership stole the guy that books shows at Camelot that was so inclusive to alt comics and Boone Shakalaka.
Shout out Boone Shakalaka.
By the way, yeah, moment of silence. I don't mean to make light of the dead. We're all very sad that Boone Shakalaka is no longer with us. Thank you.
Hey, it's Boogie.
No, different guy. All right. What time are we working with here? Do we have time to stay in Austin for a minute to get to Kill Tony?
Sure.
This is speaking of, we were talking about Red Bar a little earlier in the show. I think he covers Hinchcliffe. Am I wrong about that?
Probably.
I think he follows Tony Hinchcliffe very closely, and has some like. That's the thing is like I like Kill Tony and Tony Hinchcliffe, so the amount that Red Bar is negative about that, like I don't get into really, but he makes some points. You know, the guy observes some things.
Yeah,
and I think one of those points is like how bitchy Tony gets.
So bitchy.
I thought this was wild. Did you watch these clips?
Yes.
Are you in agreement with me on these?
That Tony's bitchy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a quick trigger, and he thinks a lot of himself, where, like, I like Tony, I like Kill Tony, I like what it does for young comics. I think it's a very cool setup, and I think he's done a terrific job with it. But he's becoming a little bit of a megalomaniac with some of these. So this is a guy named Scott Pott who does a minute and bombs on Kill Tony. So we'll hear his minute first, and then we'll show you Tony's reaction.
This is awkward. They took my smoke bombs. I thought this was going to be like a Kill Tony, where we try to kill Tony. Turns out we just talk him into suicide. I did some more research, though. Turns out he's gay, so my plan is to seduce him and then fuck him to death. My only concern is my dick isn't big enough. Might be a little bit too loose down there, Tony. My backup plan, choke him to death with it. They call me the 9-inch nailer at work. It's only 8.5, but close enough. Fuck a minute, it's really long. Another one. I'm from Portland, Oregon. Can't say the hard R.
Jesus Christ.
There we go.
The merciful meow. I mean, a horrendous minute. But he starts off by saying, I thought we were supposed to kill Tony. It turns out we're just talking him into suicide. Maybe I'm not getting the joke. It sounds to me like he's making fun of how bad the comics are on that show, right? Am I wrong about that?
Maybe. I couldn't quite tell.
I mean, it's a terrible joke, sure, and there's no context for it really, so it's hard to set that up in a minute. But it seemed to me like he was saying, like, these comics are so bad, we're just getting him to kill himself, basically.
Right.
Then he makes a joke about Tony being gay, which, if you've ever heard him talk, the natural joke, Tony's not gay, apparently, but the natural joke is to say that he's gay. And it comes up a lot on the show. I remember, like, Stavros was on a couple months ago and literally counting how many times he calls Tony gay. Like, that was the bit he was doing throughout the episode.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a running gag, and, like, if you listen to the show, obviously, you're familiar with that. So, Tony has Tom Green and Adam Ray are the guest judges. Oh, by the way, this is the weekend I was there. I was upstairs while this was going on. So this is what I missed out on.
That'd have been great.
And Tony has this angry response that he unloads on some of these comics sometimes. And Tony's very high and low, because I remember a few months ago when Gillis was on, he brought out Cam Patterson, who's very funny. But he sets Cam Patterson up as, like, he goes, the next big thing in comedy. This kid is appreciate seeing him now because he's going to be playing theaters soon. He's massive. He's this, he's that. And Shane was like, what are you doing to this poor bastard? You're setting him up for failure.
The worst thing.
Why are you hyping him up like this? So he goes to that extreme. But then he also goes to this extreme where it's like, the guy just ate it. You could tell he sucked, obviously. He even acknowledged, like, boy, a minute's a lot longer than I thought it was. That was the closest thing to a funny thing that he said in his set. Listen to Tony snap here. I thought this was wild.
Remember, it's Tony's gay, which everyone says.
Yeah.
And we as comics that are coming up here are so bad you might kill yourself.
Yeah, and this is Tony's response to that. There's nothing cut out here.
Well, Scott Pot. Look at
so he's
that.
eating it.
I always love it when a YouTube commenter tries stand-up for the first time. This is great. Not as easy as it looks, huh, troll boy?
First time.
I know it's your first time. You're unbelievably terrible. Everything you thought was going to go good was bad.
Yeah.
Do you have like a Reddit handle and a troll account online? I'm getting a real troll vibe here because you thought you were going to come in and just fucking kill the host. I'm going to go in, I'm going to take over, joke about fucking him to get death and his loose.
See, Tony's taking such... First of all, like, the Reddit thing seems weird. It seems like Tony's, like, triggered by Reddit and YouTube comments.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which he is wearing on his sleeve here. It's a weird angle to take.
And I thought, like, the first 30 seconds was kind of funny response if he left it at that.
Yeah, well, here's my whole thing. Is like, Tony's very funny. So, like, even when he gets nasty like this, a lot of it is often funny.
Mm-hmm.
My angle is more like, why he seems very triggered by this, and he's putting something on this guy that seems like Tony's issue more than Scott Potts.
Yes.
Like, we have no idea if Scott Pott is on Reddit. He made a very generic Tony is gay joke.
He must have read basically that as a comment.
And yeah, evidently, Tony is going through the Reddit and YouTube. Like, if this guy said something specific, like if he made a Red Bar reference, it's like, okay, fucking unload on him, Tony. But the guy just bombed. Why are you so angry? It's weird.
Just dead fucking silence. I can hear Violent J breathing on his way up the stairs.
Oh, that's right. The person that went on before him was Violent J from Insane
Clown Posse, yes. Which, by the way, quick aside, when we were at Skankfest, do you remember me telling you the story of Alba taking an edible?
Yes.
And then the next thing, when it started to kick in, what happened was Violent J and Roseanne were on the Legion of Skanks talking about politics. And Violent J had the face paint on, and she thought she was freaking out. So when this episode came out, I was like, can you imagine if that happened again? He's like, I can't escape that. I can't go to a comedy show without this clown coming on the stage.
I mean, absolutely fucking god-awful terrible. I can't imagine it going any worse, but you came in with an unbelievable amount of almost confidence. But not really. But you just thought you were going to do something special here. How did you think that was going to go, Scott Pott?
A little better than that.
Yeah, I bet, you fucking fuck.
He's so pissed.
He's so mad. Tom Green's just sitting there.
Tom Green, I think we cut it out, but Tom Green after that goes, it seems like you didn't like it, Tony.
There's more. There's more.
Okay, good.
How old are you, Scott? Time to start answering questions.
Let me guess, you didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
How old are you, Scott?
I'm 27.
What do you do for work, Scott Pott?
I am a carpenter. I do construction.
Oh, good job.
Water damage restoration.
Tony's so mad he can't even think of punchlines.
You to death, huh?
Go back a little bit. Tony's so angry he can't think of punchlines. He's just like, "Oh, good job." The guy just has like a regular job.
Wow, that's
probably fucking nice, asshole.
You probably live comfortably.
Scott. That's the thing is like I like Tony shitting on the comedians and stuff like that. And with a show like this, you definitely should approach it like Simon Cowell. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it shouldn't just be treated with kid gloves when you bomb. My thing is Tony's taking this so personally, and it's weird. And he does this from time to time, which is weird.
Just because he said it was gay. He was gay.
Yeah.
I am a carpenter. I do construction.
Oh, good job.
Water damage restoration. It's
wow. Looks like God is fucking you to death, huh?
Why? He's got a regular job.
Yeah, seems like I'm doing quite well.
Hey, a carpenter named Scott. It's not the guy that made Rogan's Table, is it?
Oh my God.
No, Tony would never cross that man.
And that guy's last name was Christ, as we established.
Sure, yeah, no, I know that.
This is the last clip we have here. It's just called triggered. Because
yeah, you guys let me know. Maybe I'm reaching. Tell me if Tony seems triggered here.
yeah, one in the chat if Tony's triggered.
Flew in here to do that set.
Something like that, yeah.
Did you prepare anything else? You just thought you were going to come on and the beloved host of the show, you were going to make jokes about fucking to death, and then crowd was going to go wild at you, a complete stranger with no confidence or swagger, taking shots at the person who they love week after week, 2 hours at a pop, giving them unbelievable.
He's going down like the this is actually why I'm awesome and everyone loves me.
Like, it's a crazy response to this. And mind you, am I wrong about the Kill Tony lore here? Isn't this how David Lucas got on the show?
From
by
bombing?
calling Tony gay?
Yeah, but he was probably funny about it.
Well, absolutely. That's the thing, is like David Lucas is funnier than this guy. But what I'm saying is, I can't believe how angry he is because of the guy's approach. Like, there's another part where he's like, the guy's like, yeah, it was between this and a different minute, but my friend who listens to the show told me that it might be funnier to go after you. And Tony's like, doesn't seem like much of a friend, huh? If he gave you that advice. And it's like, Jesus, Tony. But that's what, again, you can't just do that and get on the show forever like David Lucas. You have to actually be funny. But you're blaming the guy for taking that approach. It's not crazy.
This is the Tony we got. I know we had the fucked up timestamps with him and Lewis.
Yeah.
But this is the same guy that was talking to Lewis.
Yeah, this is what bothers me, where it's like, I can't play Skankfest. I'm an arena. He's Cat Williamsing this guy.
As he's in
I'm an arena act.
I'm an arena act, baby.
Is that a pop? Giving them unbelievable free content from the future and the present. Finding talent time after time, week after week, taking his own energy to book the best possible guests at the right times, at the right places, with certain things spaced out in a timely fashion, leading up to sold-out arenas all across America.
He's leaving out the fact that Joe Rogan is the reason those are full.
It's a good show, though.
Clearly, you didn't think it through.
I just love Tom Green on where because Tom Green tries to, like, he's like, hey, but you got up here and tried it, man. Like, good for you.
This is when I wish Bill Burr was on, because he was like, what are you doing to this guy?
What the fuck are you doing? You're scolding this kid.
We got lots
he
of
just called you fucking gay, Tony.
Lots of ones in the chat. And frankly, you're acting pretty gay.
Yeah, this seems like the bitchiest way to approach someone calling you gay. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Was that the end of that clip?
Yeah.
Yeah, it bothers me because I like Tony, and I've listened to Kill Tony a lot more in the last few months. I've become a fan. Mm-hmm. So I like it, but it reminds me of that Skankfest thing where, like, as a fan, as a guy that goes to that show, he's basically saying, fuck you. You don't deserve my arena show. I could do it. I'm choosing not to because I'm so big now,
Right.
Whereas, like, Gillis and Mark Normand and Tim Dillon and these people could say the same thing. They could be like, oh, I'm huge. I don't need to do Skankfest. But they do it because they understand it's good for comedy. It's like giving back to the best environment in comedy, in my opinion. And also, like, Lewis, who does a lot for comedians. So.
Right.
So I found it very annoying, but...
You did?
I did. I'm triggered now.
Yeah. He starts going off on Tony's reaction.
He called me gay when I was in Austin. Like, I'm not over it yet.
Yeah.
All right. Does that wrap things up here?
Yeah. I mean, we got some other little things, but
oh, we could save Dat Fan for another time.
Yeah, that's evergreen.
Yeah.
That's evergreen.
Yeah. It's always Dat Fan is bad at comedy, guys. So stay tuned.
Did you know? Who'd have thunk that we would have been just stuck on this?
Yes.
Hey, it's Boogie.
Yeah. So hang on to those. Hang on to those Dat Fan clips for me, and we will. I guess that wraps it up, right?
Yep.
We will talk to you guys next time. Appreciate you being here. If you would be so kind, go to blindmike.net. Find all of our links there. We won't be live next week. I have something planned that I hope you guys enjoy that we'll be recording a little earlier in the week. If you want early access to that and early access to Why You Laughing and other stuff that we do, become a member, whether it's on YouTube or Patreon. Get us to 1,000 on Patreon, or if YouTube is the platform you prefer, you can become a member on YouTube. You can also give out gifted memberships if you think someone might like the program. So consider that. For one-time donations, you can always hop on here when we are live, Sundays at 10 a.m., and fire off a super chat. Or you can just support the show for free. We appreciate that as well. Like, comment, subscribe on all platforms. If you're here on YouTube, smash that like button. Leave a comment about how important Craig is. Our lives flashed before our eyes this morning when we envisioned a world without Craig.
Yeah.
Thank God he's still here. And go to hackridethedemon.com, support our boy Hackride. He's standing by. You guys can criticize Hackride all you want. If Craig dies, Hackride slides in. We don't notice a difference.
That's right.
You know, our lives don't change at all, and that's because of Hackride.
Always.
So go support him. And also, we don't mention this enough, probably. He got demonetized on YouTube, so go support his Patreon. Let the guy make a few bucks.
Yeah, let him.
For all the content that he puts out. And then I saw you say that the latest rubbed out was Matt's best work yet. Is that right?
Yeah, he did his best research, and it was the smoothest show I think we've had so far.
Well, it's funny how much that pays off.
Yeah, that's right.
He actually looked into the subject.
Yeah, he has that all other times, but he didn't cry on this one. But
oh, well, that's too bad.
Yeah,
Matt Sanford should probably, based on what I know of him, should be interviewed by Boogie.
What does that mean? He's just fat and short.
Well, we'll see. I'll see you guys next week.
And we have a mean transition.
Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.